A few settlements. Please kindly note that the summary of the settlement is as follows. The district will reimburse parents for students' private tuition providing during the 24-25 school year in the amount not to exceed $64,470. The district will reimburse parents for the students' private school tuition during 25-26, 26-27, 27-28, 28-29 in the amount not to exceed $60,530. In the 25-26 school year, the district agrees to reimburse parents in the amount not to exceed $30,530. In the 26-27 school year, in the amount not to exceed $10,000. In the 27-28 school year, reimbursed not to exceed $10,000. 28-29, the district agrees to reimburse parents in the amount not to exceed $10,000. The district shall pay reasonable attorney fees in the total amount of $6,000. Motion made by Maria, seconded by Stacy. 5 yeses, no abstentions, no nos, and 2 absent. The second final settlement agreement, the district will reimburse parents for students' privately obtained educational expenses during the 25-26 school year, including aid, support, tutoring, speech and language, counseling, psychological services in the amount not to exceed $10,000. Motion made by Maria, seconded by Stacy. 5 yeses, no abstentions, no nos, and 2 absent. And the other thing I'd read aloud following closed session is in closed session by a unanimous vote, the Board of Education gave Superintendent Dr. Shelton a satisfactory performance evaluation for the 24-25 school year. Okay, so that is the readouts. We will move on to, thank you, roll call. So Alicia is here with us on Zoom, yes?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, great, hi. Okay, John?
Hello.
Stacy? Here. Richard?
Here.
Maria? Here. Lori?
Here.
Okay, and I'm here. We'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. I'm so sorry. I did not realize. Wait. I'm sorry. I was not informed. And please tell me your name.
This is the Olympic High School.
Oh, Anthony. Hi.
Hi.
Welcome. And Haley is here. Thank you. Sorry. I was great. Okay. Okay, so that is roll call, and our Olympic High School representative and Haley, but our Malibu High School representative could not attend tonight, right? Okay. Now the Pledge of Allegiance. Flags behind us. Okay. Oh, here it is.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. All right. Moving too fast. Move on to the approval of the agenda. Does anybody have any questions or comments? Is there a motion to approve the agenda? Stacy makes a oh, yes, sorry.
We do have one public speaker on this item on approval of agenda.
Oh.
Joshua Spiegel, who wants 1
So
minute.
generally we have, I guess it's true. I mean, maybe we should, what?
We don't do it.
Oh, there are no
Okay.
public comments taken for procedural items. Say that again at the last part. There are no public comments taken for procedural items. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so.
Jen, I do have a question. I know sometimes for items not on the agenda, if we had kids here, would they be allowed to make things early and go home, or does it all wait till the end? What would be something that
well, we generally will allow children to speak before the time allotted if they're general public comments.
Okay, so if anyone has kids that's speaking tonight.
But we would have to change that from the dais as an agenda.
Okay,
amendment.
so should I do that?
You can make the motion.
Okay, I would like to move children with public comments up to after item.
Well, why don't we do it after comments on the agenda for them as well?
Okay, after?
Just after right after E.
After
if you would
item E.
accept that as an emotion, as a part of the motion.
Yeah. So that's my motion. Do I need to repeat it or is that okay?
Does everyone understand? I think everyone understands.
Everybody got it?
You're saying that's part of the approval of the agenda?
Yeah,
Is that-
he's making a motion to
Okay.
amend the agenda.
Sounds,
Yeah.
Are you seconding, Lori? Is that
sure,
what you're
seconded. I
intending?
just don't know procedurally what the right, but yes,
I think we have to take a vote on it. Anthony, your first vote. Will you vote to approve the amendment?
Yes.
Haley,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Stacy,
Yes.
Richard,
Yes.
Maria,
Yes.
Lori,
yes.
and I'm a yes. So all children prepare. Right after public comments on the agenda, you can come up and speak. Okay, so we'll move on to the minutes for September 18th. Does anybody have any questions or comments on the minutes from September 18th? Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll move approval.
Lori makes a motion to approve the minutes. Maria seconds. Roll call. Anthony,
Yes.
Haley,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Stacy,
Yes.
Richard,
Yes.
Maria.
Yes.
Oh, sorry, Alicia. Oh, are you there?
Yes, I'm
Okay.
here. I'm a
Okay.
yes too.
Okay, good. Richard, did you say? Okay, Maria,
Yes.
Lori,
Yes.
and I'm a yes. I'm so sorry. So much happening. So we'll move on to the Board of Education commendations, recognitions, Malibu High School. Welcome. Are you-
Hey, everyone. Thank you. It looks like we have a lot of a few Malibu students here as well, and some representatives. So I'm happy to join them and have an opportunity to present to all of you some of our plans for the beginning of the school year, and what we're looking at in terms of student supports, academic success, and professional development for our staff. So I believe our PowerPoint gets put up there. Yes. All right. If you didn't know, Adam Almeida, principal at Malibu High School. Thank you. My back's turned, but I'd recognize you individually. So I would like to point out some celebrations that we've had so far this year. First of all, we had a successful ribbon cutting. I was just talking to someone this afternoon, and I was like, was the ribbon cutting last week? Was it the week before? But it was amazing to have that event and to christen our new building. We've had nothing but positive feedback from not only staff, students, and the community. And with that, we had a very successful gala, Malibu Education Foundation Gala this past Saturday that highlighted not only our building, but some of the successes in our Malibu community. So that was great success. And within that building, we have our wellness center that we established. And before, our wellness center was always somewhere else, off the side or up by the bungalows. But now we're able to integrate our wellness center in the building, and it's been used by a lot of our students, and we're definitely excited to partner with the Boys and Girls Club. We continue to build strong partnerships with our families through PTSA and our community groups. And we've created some great momentum, we think, and excitement around project-based learning and developing student supports. Focus areas for this year academically, and part of our PD wheel, we're looking at focusing on restorative justice practices, so building positive relationships, growing our PBIS, positive student supports, to reinforce school-wide expectations, and aligning our social-emotional learning with those student supports. So we have scheduled classroom visits and support with our assistant principal and our counselors to go over the curriculum and kind of reinforce some of the positive things that are happening with our students and school-wide. And then directly connecting our professional development with PBL and utilizing and maximizing our new building and the flexible spaces within that new building. So part of our school site implementation plan, our SIP, we have a couple more focuses there. And one of it, what we kind of looked at the beginning of the year with our staff, is to establish professional development around PBL and use these spaces to not only continue to grow project-based learning, but also hopefully student and academic achievement. And so it's increasing rigor, it's increasing accountability, and creating meaningful collaboration, not only with students, but our staff as well. And so in this new building, I mentioned at the ribbon cutting, it's historic because now we're together in one building. Before we were an acre away from each other and traveling, and staff saw each other maybe in the morning, maybe in the afternoons when they picked up mail or had their breaks. But now you walk around the building and staff are talking in the hallways, staff are collaborating in their classrooms. And one thing I communicated with staff this past Friday is that it's been amazing for me. I can sit in the hallway and watch 3 different lessons happening from the hallway and check in with students and walk around and and see students having conversations, academic conversations about the content out and about around campus. So that's been amazing. So our ultimate goal and our outcome for the first semester, and we're going semester at a time, and when we talked at the beginning of the school year with our staff, was continuing to establish PBL. Last year, we set the foundation. We had students our staff kind of try it out and mix and match. This year, 5 of our staff members went to College Board PBL conferences. And so we're really leaning into this. And so what I wanted them to do is partner amongst staff members and find a partner, talk about the curriculum, and try to create projects in which they can go cross-curricular, whether that's math and science, whether that's film and world language, English and history, and create those partnerships so we can continue and build upon the learning. And so one of our first professional developments on a Friday afternoon, we did a speed dating activity. And then in that speed dating activity, they answered questions around project-based learning, content areas in which they were excited about, content areas they wanted to explore, so that as they worked around the room, they were able to kind of learn more about their colleague and what they do and what they're interested in, so that then they can partner with each other for lesson planning and supports over the school year, and in this case, in the first semester. So what that looks like is students will collaborate on PBL tasks. They will use real world and rigorous contexts, take accountability for learning via check-ins with staff members and giving feedback to staff members and teachers. And again, using those flexible spaces. Teachers will co-design and implement at least one PBL unit with their colleague in the first semester. Use these flexible spaces to enhance rigor and engagement, participate in grade level teams to be proactive with those supports, and apply consistent systems for accountability, reflection, and feedback. And with that grade level team, and as all of you know, Malibu is very small. So when we get into PLCs, we have one geometry teacher, we have one world history teacher, we have one physics teacher. So there's really not that ability to collaborate. So what we did is, like the middle school, create grade level teams, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. And so in those groups, we pulled data like attendance, behavior, grades, and then our Star Renaissance scores to look at and get a whole view of our students. And then what the teachers decided to do is create a spreadsheet and then have regular check-ins with certain students based on behavior needs or behavior challenges, based on Star Renaissance scores, based on grades, or based on attendance. And so with that, 50% of our student population would have individual check-ins with their staff. And so we decided to do this for the entire month. During supports, teachers will call in their students during our support period to check in, to see how it's going, to make sure they have any questions, to recommend tutoring, to send them to another class to catch up on math or to get homework done. So we have a check-in in about 2 weeks with the staff members to kind of see how it's going, see where we can make adjustments, and then honestly, to keep ourselves accountable and make sure we're continuing to regularly check in with students on an individual basis to better support them. Whether that's a recommendation to the wellness center, whether that's a recommendation to see their counselor, or anything else that they may need. We want to be able to be hands-on with our supports and then hopefully use PBL then to drive academic success. So these supports, which I clearly am not following my own PowerPoint, these supports here are dedicated around grade level teams, monitoring progress, and then our school leadership team coming together bi-weekly to kind of review how that's working, give me feedback on our professional development time and days, and then to kind of talk about resources that I can provide to them to promote their success. We created a timeline. And so in that timeline, August and September, what we did is launch these grade level teams, pair teachers up, and create time. Like anything else, it's very, if I'm asking teachers to do these things, I need to provide them time to do that. And so I'm doing that. We are doing that on our Friday PD times, where myself, our counselors, our assistant principal are available to help and support with lesson planning, with talking about student resources. And so we've embedded that into our PD calendar as a staff. And so far it's been working well. In October, we are starting to now plan and outline these PBL lessons. We have our first cycle of supports based on those grade level check-ins. And this Monday, we have our first school leadership team walkthroughs. We're going to go visit classrooms and kind of get feedback and see where we're at as we're moving forward. In November, we look to implement our lesson plans for PBL. We're going to obviously continue to monitor student supports and shift as needed, and then analyze student work based on these lesson plans that we're creating as a group. In December, we look at having a PBL showcase to showcase these projects and student work. We're looking at having a reflection for our grade level teams to kind of see the progress. And if a student was struggling in the class, did we promote success? Did the student increase on their test scores? Are they regularly showing up to school now that they have a mentor or these check-ins? And then overall, just a general semester reflection so that we can plan then for second semester. So in practice, obviously, it's these walkthroughs and cross-curricular integration, but it's how are we using these flexible spaces in this amazing new building? Are we maximizing the capacity of the building? Do we need to make shifts or movements? Do we need to set different routines and policies to maximize these spaces? We'll look at student work and see if DOK levels are at 3 and 4. So are they analyzing their work? Are they being critical of their work? Are they then given the opportunity to then reevaluate what they're learning and whether or not the standards that we're covering is supportive and equals the student success that we expect? And then kind of looking over the documentation for these grade level check-ins. And are we being successful? And looking ahead, we want to continue to make this building, this new building, not only promote academic success, but continue to create it as a place or a hub that's promotes innovation, promotes collaboration. Again, continue PBL expansion and disciplines, and supporting our SEL learning, which was part of our first year of our PBL cycle, or I'm sorry, our professional development cycle. And continue our strong partnerships with our families and our community. So I thought I'd share some pictures of not only our facility, but our ribbon cutting, our senior class president, our ASB president from that event and our ribbon cutting. We hosted our principals meeting today on campus, and got a lot of positive feedback from my colleagues about how amazing the building was and how it functioned. They sat out and had lunch with the students, so it was a great day and a great time. And I can't be prouder and more appreciative of the support that we've received from our community, from the district, to make this happen and make this happen early, in fact. So thank you for all of that. And then with our parent community and our parent involvement, we're lucky to have such a strong PTSA, a strong athletic booster club that supports our students, a strong shark fund, the Malibu Ed Foundation that had a very successful event on Saturday. And so we want to continue this partnership, build upon those things, continue to get our Friendly Faces program off the ground. And really that's having and inviting parents here on campus with us on a daily basis so they can see all of the great work that we're doing. And the last thing I wanted to mention is our addition of our school resource officer. hangs around, a great addition to our student body and to our community. He gets a lot of questions during the school day about what he does and how he does it, and if you've made any recent arrests. And so obviously he's very appropriate with his responses, but he definitely gets a lot of attention, and he's a great asset to have on campus. So thank you to the city of Malibu and our district for being able to create that. But really, we want to be able to promote these partnerships, and really, it's about the enrichment opportunities for our students. We want to give them the best opportunity to be successful on campus, and we're thankful for our partnership with our community.
Thank you so much. That was a really wonderful report and just looks like so much fun to be at your school.
It really is. So thank you. Yeah.
Anybody have any comments? No? Yes, Stacy?
I'm so glad you highlighted the ASB president and the senior class president. The three of you were such a good team that day, telling about what's going on and sharing experiences. And what's cool, we're all so excited about this building that we've been waiting for really since 2006 with Measure BB. And here we are in 2025 and it's here. But it's not only beautiful. I love how everybody's talking about how functional it is, what a good learning space it is, how much it is for community, and how that informs learning and relationship, not just between the kids, not just between the faculty and staff, but everybody. So, the students unprompted shared that. And we all here know Ella because she sat up here where you all are sitting last year, and Adam as well. And they don't say things insincerely. They're not just looking for what people want to hear. They're really sharing that. So it's neat that the students are echoing what you're sharing.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, they're more than comfortable sharing their opinions at any one point. So it's great. I always welcome the feedback, but generally you're right. It's been positive, and the excitement for the building is palpable from day one. So it's been amazing. Thank you.
Yes, Maria.
No, I just wanted to comment. What has been, like, you've seen it, the reaction of students to this building? Because for me, when we went to go see it the first time, it was unbelievable. And thanks to all of the, Malibu residents and the community that got involved in really putting the school together, because it really brings in all the aesthetically speaking, it brings in all the environments, like you're there.
Yeah.
It brings in the whole environment, the beach, it looks like you're in the desert, whatever. It's a very real conducive building to be able to do what you're talking about, the future of education.
Yes.
No,
I agree. And that's what we're trying to lean into with this project-based learning and creating these opportunities for our students. There's some field trips that our students have already participated in, and there's definitely some great collaboration amongst staff to create lessons that not only use the building to its capacity, but then is open to new ideas and new learning. So that's what we're looking forward to. Yeah.
Great. Thank you. Thank
you very much.
Thank you for being here tonight.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to hear some of our student comments, and they can add on to their excitement about the building. But thank you for having me.
Okay, great. Then we'll move on to public comments for items listed on the agenda. Lori?
We don't have any for items listed on the agenda.
So then we'll move to public comment.
You want the students?
I'm sorry, just well, I would say if it was about the agenda itself, okay, that's okay. But now we'll move on to the students who would like to speak, who were signed up for general public comment and would like to come forward now, as opposed to waiting till the end of the meeting.
And one of the forms that was filled out says student on it. That's only one of them, but there may be others. No, of course. If there's a student here who came to speak, they should, that's what Jen is asking for, that those students should come up.
So we're not gonna.
This person did happen to know to put student on.
So you can stand and get in line and just sort of line up in the car. Yes, just if you'd like to speak on. Right.
Yes. And the one that I do have in my hand is Darcy O'Hurley.
Good evening, everyone.
Okay.
My name is Darcy O'Hurley. I'm a current sophomore at Malibu High School, and I'm here to speak on behalf of the Malibu students, the Malibu families, and the community who believe that it's time for Malibu to have its own united school district. and one that truly understands us. For years, we've been a part of Santa Monica-Malibu United School District, and while the word united is in it, the truth is we don't feel united, we don't feel seen. Santa Monica just isn't Malibu. Our communities are different, our geography, our challenges, our culture, even our daily lives are different. And that's not a bad thing. It's something to be celebrated. But that also doesn't mean that Malibu students but it also means that Malibu students have different needs than those in a dense urban city 20 miles away. We face challenges that Santa Monica doesn't see, from wildfire threats to evacuation routes, from small town community connections to the lack of local school resources. Decisions about Malibu schools are being made by people who don't live here and don't face the unique challenges that we do. When we speak up, we're being told that we're being heard or seen, but it isn't the same as actually being seen. Our schools need local leadership that reflects Malibu values and listens to families and prioritizes Malibu students. For too long, we've been the smaller voice in a district dominated by another city's perspective. Our funding, our policies, and even our future is shaped by a system that wasn't designed for us. And it's time for a district that is. It's simply not possible to see Malibu from Santa Monica. Thank you, guys.
Good evening, SMM USC board. My name is Parker Kaplan, and I'm the sophomore class president at Malibu High School. I'm here to speak about Santa Monica-Malibu Unified School District ongoing neglect towards Malibu schools. For years, Malibu has felt unseen by the district. Our students, families, and teachers are often left out of decisions that affect our schools. We are a small part of the district, and it shows that our needs are different, but they're nearly not being met. We watch our resources and attention go to mostly Santa Monica schools while Malibu schools struggle with school closures, transportation difficulties, power loss, and communication failures. When we ask for help, we are told to wait or just simply ignored. It doesn't work anymore. Our safety protocols are pretty much non-existent, especially when it comes to wildfires, which we are extremely unprepared for. Our lockdown protocols are even worse, being in a building with glass on all sides. Our requests have been ignored to fix these flaws, whether it comes to installing a generator or simply adding shades to block an intruder from seeing inside a classroom, with little to no hiding spaces. Students go to school in fear, knowing that we don't have special plans in place for emergencies based off our geography. This isn't about dividing communities. It's about giving Malibu a chance to build a school district that fits our students in town. We deserve local control, fair funding, and a district that actually listens to us. We've been patient for a long time, but the neglect cannot keep going. It's time for a change. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
I stand here to advocate for something that's long overdue, a Malibu Unified School District.
Excuse me, can you give us your name, please?
Yes. My name is Nixon Riddick, and I am a freshman at Malibu High. I want to sincerely thank you for being here. Last year, due to the fires, I missed many days of school due to lack of power at the school. This is because Santa Monica did not give Malibu the necessary generators. I know this problem is being fixed now, but that is just one example of Santa Monica being an unfit leader for Malibu schools. Having emergency power is top of mind here, but less important in Santa Monica. Another example would be the loss of water at Malibu Elementary, which would never happen at somewhere like Sama High. My experience at Malibu High has been great, but not as good as it could be. Many of my friends move away every year due to a lack of sports and a lack of extracurriculars to take at the school. All these problems can lead straight back to a lack of funding and no local control. If Malibu had its own school district, it would be able to easily fund the schools. But because most of Malibu's money is going towards Santa Monica, we cannot support ourselves. I also completely understand that Santa Monica may have trouble understanding Malibu's needs because we are far smaller than Santa Monica and far away. But that is no reason for them to completely forget about us. Santa Monica has proven time and again that they are not the best choice for administering our schools. I'm not blaming them. It's only natural that Santa Monica would be focused on their own schools. But Malibu shouldn't have long-lasting problems because Santa Monica is too busy or distracted to fix them. Malibu shouldn't be forced to remain as a satellite state used primarily by the Santa Monica Empire to extract resources. Malibu should not be an afterthought, and it wouldn't be if we were running it here locally. The fight for our independence from Santa Monica has been going on longer than I've been alive, and I have one question. Will things ever change? Thank you.
Hi, my name is Anthony Baihu, and I'm a fellow student with Nixon at Malibu High. Good morning, everyone. I stand before you today to also advocate for something that is long overdue, the creation of the independent Malibu School District. Malibu is a unique community with its own identity, cultures, and value, yet we remain tied to a school district based miles away in Santa Monica, where decisions about our children's education are made without truly understanding the needs of our local families. Our students deserve schools that reflect the priorities of our community, schools with leadership that is directly accountable with Malibu parents, teachers, and residents. This isn't about geography, it's about the equity and fairness. For years, Malibu families have contributed millions in tax dollars, yet we only receive a fraction of those resources back. Our schools are aging, underfunded, and overlooked. A locally controlled district would allow us to invest directly into Malibu classrooms, teachers, and programs where the money belongs. By becoming our own district, we gain the freedom to tailor educational programs to our students, preserve small class sizes, and emphasize environment and sustainability, something our coastal community deeply values. This is about giving us the best chance to succeed in a system that is built for them by us. Malibu is ready, the students are ready, and we as a community must come together and demand local control over our schools. Thank you.
Okay, is that all the students? You have a son with you, was the? Okay. Well, I hope there won't be any inappropriate conversations. They won't be coming from up here.
No, I don't, yeah. It's not, there's a precedent that we don't necessarily want to make, so we would hope that this would be the one time that we would allow this.
Let's just do it.
I'm here on behalf of my kids and other Webster families. My name is Chad Peters. I'm here to address the situation of testing and remediation of the Webster campus. Like many people in Malibu, my family and I are victims of the Palisades fire. In the weeks and months after the fire, I've been learning what real remediation is. Myself and others have dealt with insurance problems. My own insurance has faced me with misleading statements, bullying, flat out lying, and every attempt to discourage me from properly remediating my home. These experiences, along with other parents, we started asking questions about how Webster was tested and remediated post-Franklin fire, because we knew the fire reached not only the campus edge, but it burned a transformer on campus. For months, we emailed back and forth with Carrie Upton and other district employees, and we were misled, delayed providing any documentation, and even lied to on what took place. I even arranged free testing from UCLA, which took months to approve. When UCLA finally arrived, Principal Diana attempted to block all testing, which she had confirmed had been approved. Ultimately, testing took place, but Principal Diana limited the scope. Last Friday, Superintendent Shelton, who's been the only person that has been transparent and open, and I thank him for that in this process, confirmed to me that Webster was inadequately tested and inadequately cleaned. In addition, that remediation work went almost totally unsupervised. I'm asking that proper testing, proper remediation take place at Webster. And I've emailed several times about this, but kids also comment that Webster still smells like smoke. And for most of last year, there were classrooms that were off limits. They were deemed too fire damaged to use. And then somehow they got cleaned. I've just been totally shocked at how untransparent that the whole process has been. And from my own experience, nothing can be trusted anymore. So thank you.
Thank you.
So we're going to move on to communications. We have the student board member from Santa Monica High School, Haley.
Good evening, board members, superintendent, and fellow SMUSD community members. It's officially that time of the year when ASB is working tirelessly behind the scenes to bring the most exciting week of the school year. Yes, homecoming week. It's been a whirlwind of planning, decorating, and spirit building, but I'm thrilled to share how everything is finally coming together. Right now, SEMO is in the middle of Homecoming Spirit Week, and our theme this year is Tangled Up in Hoko, just like the Disney movie. There are so many themed spirit days coming up this week. Just to name a few, or maybe all of them, yesterday, October 6th, was Pajama Party Day. Finally a day I could just roll out of bed and not have to change my outfit. Today was Regal Colors Day, where everyone wore purple and yellow. Tomorrow, Wednesday, will be Majestic Sock Day. And will also be our Homecoming Carnival. So you can imagine everyone walking around in mismatched socks while checking out the food trucks. Thursday is Magic Kingdom Day, where Disney gear takes over campus, and of course, Friday wraps up the week with our traditional Class Colors Day. We've also had some incredible homecoming proposals over the past few weeks. If you haven't seen them yet, check it out on our @VikingsSimHigh Instagram. We just closed the proposal contest on October 5th, and we'll be announcing the lucky couples who won free tickets. Another exciting event is our Homecoming Royalty campaign, which is now in full swing. Our homecoming court was officially announced this week, and candidates are currently campaigning around campus. Voting will take place during Friday's rally, and I'll be announcing the winners myself later that evening during halftime at our homecoming football game against South Torrance. That's this Friday, October 10th at 7 p.m. at home. So be there or be square because I'll be there emceeing. Finally, our grand finale, the homecoming dance, will take place Saturday evening at 7 p.m. ASB will be there bright and early to set up, and we can't wait to see all of our hard work pay off when the doors officially open. It's been an exciting, spirited, and slightly chaotic few weeks, but it's all part of the magic that makes homecoming one of the most memorable times of the year at Samo High. Now to get into the less magical stuff, our clubs. This week we officially posted our club's main list and hosted Club Row. This year we have 164 clubs. We have service-oriented groups this year like Key Club, Red Cross Club, wellness-focused clubs like Mental Health, Peer, Counseling, and Balance. And for culture and community groups like Black Student Union, Ritmo Latino, and Middle Eastern North African Club. There truly is something for everyone at Samo High. Our Community Service Committee recently partnered with our Athletics Committee to host a breast cancer awareness themed football game, which had a great turnout and an incredible show of support from students and families. Looking ahead, we have the College Fair on Thursday, October 9th, giving the students a chance to connect with universities and explore future opportunities. And to close out the month, we'll be recognizing Red Ribbon Week during the last week of October, promoting awareness and healthy choices across campus. Before I wrap up, I wanted to share that I've also connected with both Lincoln and James Middle School representatives, and I'm excited to start working with them this year. That concludes my update. Thank you.
Thank you, Haley. Fantastic. So we'll move on to, so our Malibu High School representative couldn't be here today. And Anthony from Olympic High School, hi.
Good evening. My name is Anthony Rome, and I'm the new school board representative for Olympic High School and the Off-Campus Learning Center, also known as the OCLC. As we start off the new school year, we're still located on the Santa Monica College campus. We just started our school year number 4 at SMC, but we are planning to return to our original Obama campus in January of 2026. How do we feel about it? Well, we made a survey for our students where they answered how they felt on going back to the original campus. The consensus was they were not excited, but there's a possibility that we will take a field trip and spend some time there, as none of our current students have seen the Obama campus. We've already had one all-school assembly where we focused on getting to know each other better. I was announced as a school board rep, which we haven't had in a few years. Olympic and the OCLC have been without an academic counselor for the past 9 years. As of this school year, Mrs. Bailey Fronda filled that missing role. As high school students, I believe we are a little less independent, so we need someone to guide us. Having an academic counselor allows us to have a person and a place for support, and someone who's looking out for our best interests in regards to academics. An academic counselor is the one who helps us with staying motivated and staying the course with achieving our goals. I must say the teachers and staff did an amazing job on that role, on taking on that role, but it feels really good to now have someone dedicated to that position. Speaking of our new academic counselor, Mrs. Bailey Fronda, she's also encouraging us to take dual and concurrent enrollment classes at SMC. As a student who has been in the concurrent enrollment program since this past summer, it has been helping me adapt to a larger environment in which I'll be partaking in next year after graduation. It's very well-rounded, and I have actually gained friendships in these classes. It's very diverse, and there are a variety of classes for us to choose from. It's very beneficial for my academic record as well. I believe that it'll help me stand out from other students in my college applications. Being an SMC student while also being in high school has been very beneficial, as it has allowed us as OCLC and Olympic to pursue our passions on a deeper and more meaningful level. Beginning the week of October 20th, Olympic and Off-Campus Learning Center will be taking Counseling 12 or Counseling 15 courses as a part of our dual enrollment program with SMC. Our principal expects all of us to take dual and or concurrent enrollment courses to expose us to the college experience. Counseling 12, which is a college exploration class, will be in person on Thursday mornings. And for those students who've already taken Counseling 12, Counseling 15 will be the online course. Our teachers and staff are very helpful with ensuring that we successfully finish our college classes. And a few upcoming events is the dual enrollment with SMC starts the week of the 20th. The Halloween festival is October 31st, Friday, October 31st. Parent night turkey giveaway is Wednesday, November 19th. And yeah, that's it for my update. Thank you.
Thank you. We're really excited to have you here, Anthony. Really terrific. Okay, is there an SMM CTA report? Okay. Okay, and PTA council? Okay, and the superintendent's report then.
Thank you so much. I wanted to first of all say thank you. I think I saw Karen Alharden here. Karen, we had an amazing time. It was a beautiful space to do it in. I hope people realize how wonderful and how much time you all dedicated to create the Malibu Education Foundation. I had the honor of attending the Malibu Education Foundation Gala on Saturday evening at the brand new Malibu High School. It was a wonderful celebration of legacy, past, present, and future. And I literally mean DeGarmo, we planted a tree that was already there, but came from his home, which was pretty awesome to have a former teacher who had a passion for gardening, and then seeing that being placed in our school was pretty awesome. And thank you, Karen, for thinking of that and having his family there. And Marianne Riggins also sharing her experience at school when she was there and he was her teacher. As I look and reflect on this event, events like this remind us how vital our education foundations are in providing programs and opportunities that directly benefit our schools. I want to thank the Malibu Education Foundation for their continued partnership and dedication to enriching the educational experience for all students across the Malibu pathway, and also want to thank the city for their contribution and support as well. We also had the ribbon cutting, and I had the pleasure of joining our students, staff, elected officials, and community members at Malibu High School on September 25th for the ribbon cutting of the new campus. This milestone marks a new chapter for our Malibu community and reflects years of planning, collaboration, and dedication. The project was completed ahead of schedule and on budget, which is a testament to the commitment and coordination of our facilities improvement projects team and everyone involved in bringing this vision to life. I want to thank our Malibu families, city partners, and Education Foundation for their continued support, and especially our students and staff who will benefit from these modern, innovative learning spaces designed to prepare them for the future. I would like to also talk about the Malibu Alternative Power. As promised from our last board meeting, as I mentioned on September 18th, the first phase of our Malibu Schools alternative power systems was completed by the end of September. All Malibu campuses now have generators installed to provide backup power in the event of an outage. This work included new automatic transfer systems at Malibu Elementary and Malibu High, along with quick connect generator systems at Webster Elementary and the Malibu High field circuit. District staff have been trained to operate these systems and are prepared to respond quickly during the outage. Permanent generators for all 4 circuits are currently in production and are expected to arrive in mid-November, with installation to follow. In addition, design work for the Malibu Middle and High School solar farm and battery backup system is underway, with construction scheduled to begin in late or early fall of 2026. I also had the opportunity and pleasure of attending Grant Elementary's annual World Cultures Fair. It's always fun to go to Grant for their World Cultures Fair, which celebrated the many traditions and heritage represented in the school community. It was a wonderful experience seeing students, families, and staff come together to share music, food, and activities that foster belonging, curiosity, and cultural pride. As you always know, many of our board members attend this event, which everybody gets their hand on some type of food that they have not eaten before. I know my staff always goes, and we see a lot of teachers as well. I also wanted to mention at Samo High, recently they hosted a gaming industry career expo. And this is what Adam is talking about, thinking outside the box with project-based learning and what our kids want to do. Giving our students the opportunity to explore careers in game design, animation, programming, and related fields, organized through the school's Career and Technical Education program. Career and Technical Education is not what it once was. It's not just a shop class. It's our engineering class. It's our photo class. It's our design class. And it's also gaming. The event connected students with industry professionals and real-world pathways that blend creativity and technology. CTE programs like this are an important part of how we prepare students to be college and career ready. They also reflect our district's mission to create an atmosphere where fostering of belonging, curiosity, and empowerment. And our kids spoke up what they wanted, and we're working toward it. We also started this year, I think, with the middle school sports. They have a gaming or sports club that they have started that they're now competing in as well. And we like to expand that. So thank you all so much for giving me the opportunity to share several items that have gone on throughout the course of a couple of weeks. Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. Shelton. We're going to move on to the consent calendar. Anybody have any questions or comments on the consent? Maria makes motion to move the consent calendars. There's a second. Lori seconds. We'll take roll call. Haley?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Stacy?
Yes.
Richard?
Yes.
Maria?
Yes.
Lori?
Yes.
And I'm a yes. Thank you. Hmm?
Alicia.
Oh, Alicia, I'm so sorry because I can't see you.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm a yes too.
You're a yes too. Okay, thank you. I'm so sorry. I just such a hard time, huh? I am, yeah, you're teasing me because my, okay. I know. It's just different from the Zoom at, in the boardroom. So we'll move on to J, discussion item, the Malibu Education Foundation quarterly report. Karen?
Good evening, board members, Superintendent Shelton, and executive staff. I'm Karen L. Harden with the Malibu Education Foundation, and I would like to give you an update on our fundraising. I'll keep this brief and focused to outcomes. I think I have a presentation that is about to come up here. So just a reminder that this year, Malibu Education Foundation has committed $625,000. $518,000 is through the district to people and programs that keep our schools strong. Instructional aids, visual and performing arts, athletics, and academic support across all 4 Malibu campuses. To a strong start. $184,000 raised to date, which is about 22% to our goal, with our annual appeal pacing ahead of last year and the sold-out gala establishing a new tentpole event for the Malibu community to support our schools. I'll walk you through some event highlights slide by slide. A new and exciting development this year are grassroots community events organized by parents. Comedy night and a Malibu marketplace were planned by parents and raised funds for the foundation. The next event in development is a benefit screening of Big Rock Burning on November 18th, which will take place at the Malibu High School in the Arlene and Dick Van Dyke Theater. We also participated in Assemblymember Irwin's Malibu Day of Service, highlighting the Palisades fire impact on our schools and raising funds through a Recover 19 social impact campaign. First annual gala was an incredible community event at the new Malibu High School. We sold out and we're still getting a few residual donations in, but this event raised roughly $150,000, which is solid for our first event. And during the evening, as Dr. Shelton mentioned, we honored Charlie DeGarmo with a jacaranda tree dedication ceremony in the middle school quad. Charlie was a Malibu Park junior high school educator from 1964 to 1985, and he made a huge impact on the Malibu community. He used to walk from his home in Point Dume, where the jacaranda tree was planted, to school every day. I know, incredible, right? Our gala alumni chair, Danielle was a member of Malibu High's first graduating class in 1996, 30 years ago. The founding water polo team joined her on stage to honor their coach who started the team 30 years ago by announcing the naming of the pool deck to the Mike Mulligan pool deck. Plaque dedication opportunities on both the pool deck and the middle school quad are going to contribute to the MEF endowment, which we are starting to build out. We were also honored to have Congressman Brad Sherman join us at the event to recognize Malibu Education Foundation's work and present us with a flag. Stepping back, after a school year with 3 wildfires, over 19 days of lost instructional time, and staff and students losing, 320 of our staff and students losing their homes in the fire, our focus is on stability and continuity. While we continue to focus on grants, direct appeals, and a major donor outreach to reach our fundraising goals. And nope, that's it. But thank you. So I can answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you so much. Does anybody have any questions? Lori, yeah?
Yeah, no, I don't have a question, but that seems like an incredibly solid start. It seems great. And I know you've worked really hard and this has been in the works for a long time. So Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you. It's been a team effort and we have worked really hard, our whole board. But yeah, we're heading into just year 2 strong. So thank you.
Great, thank you. Congratulations. Okay, now we will move on to the revision of the BPs and ARs. Dr. Benjamin?
Thank you. Good evening, Board President Smith, board members, Superintendent Dr. Shelton, cabinet members, and audience. The purpose of tonight's discussion session is to share with the Board of Education and the community our proposed updates on the administrative regulation and board policies based on the CSBA samples to reflect current guidance from the CDE. Tonight, we'll be sharing proposed updates and additions to the board policies and some of the ARs in the areas of instruction regarding language arts, comprehensive health education, the selection and evaluation of instructional materials, supplementary materials, library media centers, and education for English learners. I welcome Dr. Ashley Benjamin, our Director of Curriculum and Instruction, to share with you about the proposed updates.
Good evening, Board President Smith, board members, Superintendent Dr. Shelton, cabinet members, and audience. And we just need, there we go. Okay, so it's that time of year when the Department of Educational Services reviews board policies and administrative regulations related to our department to see if there are any updates recommended from the California School Board Association, who provides us with samples that reflect current guidance from the California Department of Education. As you can see here, it's been a while since some of them have been updated. So tonight I'll be sharing with you our proposed updates and additions. First up is Board Policy 6142.91, which is Reading Language Arts Instruction. The primary update to this board policy is to add a new section for the screening for risk of reading difficulties that details aspects of Senate Bill 114 that requires school districts to annually screen students in kindergarten through 2nd grade for reading difficulties using a state-approved assessment. This is already in progress. The district is using an assessment called Multitudes, which was approved at the June 5th board meeting. All K-2 teachers have been trained in the screener by their instructional coach, and now the assessment window is occurring this October 6th through 31st. A letter went home to parents before the screener that explained the screener, and parents will receive a copy of their child's score report following the screener. Teachers will then utilize the information from the screener to guide their instruction in the classroom, and it will help give them ideas for next steps to meet all students' needs. Next is Board Policy and Administrative Regulation 6142.8, Comprehensive Health Education. In the board policy, there's been some additions to the language that states that creating a safe, supportive, inclusive, and non-judgmental environment is crucial to promoting healthy development for all students, that mental health and social connection are critical to overall health, and that digital and media literacy are important in students' health as well. Clarification's been added that the secondary course instruction includes mental health, and this information is also reflected in the previously updated Administrative Regulation 6143 Courses of Study, which was at a prior board meeting. A section has also been added about parent guardian notification and opt-out that reflects current legislation and education code. Information about opt-outs is also available in our SMUSD handbook of annual notifications and is posted on our district website. Description and the parent guardian notification and opt-out are then reflected again in the administrative regulation, just as they are in the board policy, and a section is added to detail components of the high school health education. Next is 6161.1, Selection and Evaluation of Instructional Materials. The board policy has been updated to clarify that instructional materials should accurately reflect and value the diversity of our society, stimulate thought, the exploration of ideas and intellectual exchanges, and enhance the instructor's ability to educate all students. Clarification was added that in selecting or adopting instructional materials, the board shall consider the recommendation of the superintendent or designee and/or an advisory committee established to review the materials. Here in SNMUSD, we typically utilize pilot committees of teachers to review and try out potential core curriculum. Also new is that the degree to which every student has sufficient access to standards-aligned instructional materials shall be included in the district's Local Control Accountability Plan, or LCAP. And lastly, a section's been added titled Prohibition Against Refusal to Approve or Prohibit the Use of Specified Instructional Materials. That states that the use of any textbook, instructional material, supplemental instructional material, or other curriculum for classroom instruction, or any book or other resource in a school library shall not be rejected or prohibited by the board or district on the basis that it includes a study of the role and contributions of any individual or group consistent with the requirements of Education Code 51204.5 and 60040, unless such study would violate Education Code 51501 or 60044. So essentially, this section reflects current legislation that instructional materials reflect and value the diversity of society and stimulate the exploration of ideas as described in the first section. For the corresponding administrative regulation, more details about the review process with the pilot committee of teachers is described, and clarification is added that only materials adopted by the State Board of Education or aligned to the state standards may be recommended for selection. In addition, requirements from Education Codes 604 through 60043 were added that describe components of the instructional materials, such as they should accurately portray cultural and racial diversity, ecological systems, effects of health and safety topics on the human system, humane treatment of animals and people, and when appropriate in social studies history textbooks, the content of the Declaration of Independence and United States Constitution. A section was also added stating that technology-based materials will be available and comparable to equivalent instructional materials. The corresponding exhibit, the Resolution on Sufficiency of Instructional Materials, that is presented to the board each fall, has been updated. This document is tied to the Williams Act to ensure that all students have access to instructional materials. The exhibit has been updated to clarify that sufficient materials may include materials in digital format, as long as each student has and can access the same materials in class and at home. It also has been reformatted to have individual sections for the finding of insufficient textbooks or instructional materials in one or more subject areas. And a section has been added for the finding of available science laboratory equipment for grades 9 through 12. Right, next is Board Policy 6161.11 about supplementary instructional materials. As with Board Policy 6161.1 that I previously shared, a section has been added that reflects new law that the use of any supplemental instructional material shall not be rejected or prohibited by the board or district on the basis that it includes a study or the role and contributions of any individual or group consistent with the requirements of Education Code unless such study would violate Education Code. So again, essentially, this section reflects current legislation that supplementary instructional materials reflect and value the diversity of society and stimulate the exploration of ideas and is inclusive. The section Supplementary Materials Aligned with Common Core Standards has been deleted as interim materials are no longer necessary since the State Board of Education has adopted K through 8 textbooks and instructional materials that are aligned to the Common Core Standards. Some language has been added around determining the compliance of the materials with district criteria, including factual accuracy and whether the material contains pervasive vulgarity or profanity. Sections have been added about training administrators and teachers in the selection and evaluation of supplementary instructional materials and about complaints concerning supplemental materials being handled in accordance with board policy. Board Policy 6163.1, Library Media Centers. Some language about the benefits of reading was added, stating that informational and supplemental resources can inspire a love of reading, stimulate thought, the exploration of ideas and intellectual exchanges, and contribute to help raise the academic achievement of all students. Language was also added that school libraries contain a broad spectrum of knowledge and viewpoints, accurately reflect and value society's diversity, and prepare students to become lifelong learners. Once again, as with BP 6161.1 and 6161.11, as I previously shared, a section for this has also been added that reflects new law that the use of any book or other resource in a school library shall not be rejected or prohibited by the board or district on the basis that it includes a study of the role and contributions of any individual or group consistent with the requirements of Ed Code unless the study would violate Education Code. So this section reflects current legislation that supports diversity and inclusivity. And a section was added on program evaluation that details how the superintendent or designee shall annually assess and report to the board regarding the condition of school libraries, including the process for checking out materials, staffing, quality of the collection, special programs offered, facility space, and funding. And lastly, Board Policy and Administrative Regulation 6174, Education for English Learners. They have been updated to reflect current legislation and the practices we already have in place. The description of English language development instruction has been updated to describe that it shall be based on sound instructional theory, be aligned with the state content standards, emphasize inquiry-based learning and critical thinking skills, and be integrated across all subject areas. Also, description of courses that no middle or high school student who is an English learner shall be denied enrollment in has been added, which includes core curriculum courses unless in a special circumstance and A through G courses. It has been added that staff development shall also address the social cultural needs of English learners and provide opportunities for teachers to engage in supportive collaborative learning communities. Also added is that formative assessments may be utilized by teachers to analyze student performance and appropriately adapt teaching methodologies and instructions. And information from the accompanying AR that was titled Reclassification and Redesignation section has been moved to the board policy as recommended by the California School Board Association because the content is more appropriately placed in the policy. And so this section describes the state criteria for reclassification and for reclassified student progress monitoring. For the corresponding regulation, definitions were added for designated English language development, integrated English language development, and long-term English language learner. Also added is a description of the parent-guardian notification process for the initial English language proficiency assessment for California, or the LPAC, prior to testing, as well as the results following testing, and the notification of results for the summative LPAC. Again, this is already in place. The regulation just describes what we do, and it aligns with state policies. Also added is a section about language acquisition programs that details the process for parents or guardians to request a program and the process for a determination to implement or not implement the program pursuant to California Code of Regulations 11311. And lastly, a description of the English Learner Advisory Committee, or ELAC group, was added per Ed Code 52176. So for next steps, board policies return for action on 10/23, and the administrative regulations return as information items on 10/23. Following board approval, they will be updated online and management notified of the changes. Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you, Ashley. Richard, you wanted to?
Thank you, Dr. Benjamin. Thank you very much. So on board policy 6163.1, I don't have a question. I just want to point something out because it's important, I think, to members on this board. What I appreciated is the elongating or the expanding on the language with regards to, I think it's item number 6 now, with the particular roles and contributions of Native Americans et al. But then also, if we were asked in the current environment pertaining to efforts that take place across this land to limit certain selections, I just want to make it really clear, and I want to take a moment to reflect it and speak it, that the Santa Monica-Malibu Unified School District's Board of Education and the board policy and this addition in new language for the criteria for selection of materials makes it super duper clear with regards to our commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion. And while it wasn't completely read out in your presentation. I know this will be coming at a time in the future for us to make formal adoption. I want to appreciate that and say thank you to yourself and of course to Dr. Shelton and to Dr. Williams. It's important. So I wanted to say that. One piece that I couldn't catch fast enough where we went through, and maybe you'll remember, and if not, I don't need you to go back right now, but maybe you could get back to me after. There was a particular line or a change that was being made, I think before Board Policy 6163.1, and it said where appropriate, the Declaration of Independence and the U.S. Constitution. I thought where appropriate, it's always appropriate. So I was just curious. I just went so quickly. I read this before tonight, but I wanted to go back there and if I could just see it again. Do you have it, Lori, there?
Let's see where it is on.
In the presentation. But I tried to find it in the particular. I don't have to have you go through it now, but it just caught my attention that where appropriate. So we do have a control a little bit over board policy with regards to language. So I just want to flag that, please, because I think it's always appropriate. And so particularly when looking at social studies materials. And so that's why I just didn't get to look deeply here. And I will do that, but maybe you could take a look too, and we can get back to me.
Yes, I can definitely take a look at that. And it was referring predominantly to the social studies and history textbooks that it would be in. And depending on the lesson or the unit that the Declaration of Independence was being referred to. So it may not be in every section of the textbook, but would be included in the textbook.
I see. But is it, and if you don't know this off at the moment, I understand, because I'm forgive me for not knowing, but primarily I suspect that particularly at secondary, all of our social studies or government texts include, right? We've adopted those textbooks. They should include in appendices, right? The Declaration of Independence, Constitution, and all of the supporting materials, right?
Yes.
I suspect that's a requirement.
Yeah, but it's all connected to our California state standards and our history social studies framework, where that's part of those, and so embedded within our adopted curriculum.
So where appropriate was meant for a particular unit of instruction.
Or a lesson.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you, Jen.
Yeah, of course, Lori.
So that same thing caught my eye and it just caused me to ask something that might be sort of redundant here, but I just want to confirm that all of these updates, or maybe it's most of them, are so that we are in compliance with state law, with Ed Code.
Correct.
And so what I want to ask is there anything in here that isn't about complying with Ed Code, but that's unique to our district? Because that's the one that caught my eye too. And I thought, this is really, we have to say this out loud? And I'm not objecting to it. I just think we are in a sorry state when you have to say we should include the Declaration of Independence where appropriate. Anyway, that's my question is about, is there anything in here that is?
These were all the recommended from the California School Board Association that were reflective of Ed Code and legislation. So we didn't take any liberties. We really stuck with things that we knew were going to fulfill the state requirements.
Okay. Richard?
Just to follow up, Dr. Benjamin, to the comment you just made. So as I'm bragging about the, the elongation of the verbiage there, that is what was recommended.
Yes.
Yes.
That makes me smile even bigger, right? So that means so the School Board Association for the entire state of California was recommending that very specific language to actually name, recognize these particular groups. Right, thank you.
And they're taking it they're trying to comply with Ed Code and then suggest to districts that this is how you would do that.
Great, yeah, thank you.
Any other questions? I have a question. I'm sorry, I'm going to go back to the go back to the, here it is. When they, I just was wondering about deleting part of the AR in the English language learner section and putting it into policy. It just seemed a little odd that a policy would talk about student progress monitoring in its formation, not necessarily that you do it, but so specific. Is there Do you know if there's a rationale?
Yeah, it was recommended by the school board because it is actually a state requirement that we progress monitor our English learners as well as our reclassified students for a period of years.
Right.
And so it fit within the board policy as a mandate, as something we have to do.
So is there an AR on how we do that?
It's more described within the board policy and then details about the specific criteria that we use and the different software and things that we use, like a program called Elevation, are more available on our district website or communicated through various conferences or letters that go out to families.
Okay, thank you. Okay, any other questions? Guess we can move on.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Benjamin. So now we'll move on to major action items. Okay, and a name for the Ocean Park Neighborhood New School, Dr. Shelton.
Thank you. The staff will be presenting a recommendation for the renaming of the former John Muir Elementary and Smash campus located on Ocean Park Boulevard. Dr. Richardson will provide a brief presentation outlining the process, community engagement, and guiding principles that informed this recommendation. The final proposed name will be brought forward for your consideration. Dr. Richardson.
Good evening, Board President Smith, Board of Education, Dr. Sheldon, and my colleagues in Executive Cabinet. I'm waiting for the presentation to come. I think it's on its way. There it is. There we go. So I think Dr. Sheldon did a really nice job kind of introing, talking about kind of the process, the intention, and the results of the survey around the name for the Ocean Park Neighborhood School. And so we'll start with just kind of the idea, and I'm glad I was sitting over there and saying, did I bring the right glasses? Because this is my in-between, this is not my sweet spot, but I can see it. That there was real consensus around having a single neighborhood school on the 5th and Ocean Park campus, built upon the strengths and the legacy of the schools that sat there before, John Muir Elementary and Smash. Some of the big highlights are around experiential or project-based learning, embedded social emotional learning. What's not on that list would be really a human-centered approach, as well as multi-age classrooms and a global and community impact focus. And that really leads to the last bullet point, which is this is a neighborhood school. The name would really embody that. I'm going to rip the Band-Aid off and do the big reveal, and then I'll talk about process a little bit. And so there was a strong consensus on the Ocean Park Schoolhouse. I'll talk about data and kind of what that looked like. But this was a journey, and this journey started in January in 2022 when the schools were moved and displaced. And so over that period of time, I kind of entered in the fall of 23 and did participate in the town hall meetings of 2022. But during that time, we met with John Muir Elementary parents and staff, Smash Elementary or Smash parents and staff, Board of Education in small groups and our subcommittee, and the Ocean Park Association, the neighborhood association that resides there. And, all right, trying to get a little link on that. So following this is a timeline of some of the activities that took place, some engagement activities, and it kind of falls into 3 buckets. The first would be talking to educational partners about the impact they experienced when they were displaced. That was really the beginning of it. The next was about what do we want? What do we aspire to have in that place when we reopen? And then the last one is, once that became solidified, talking about the name and the naming process. And so we had meetings all through 2023 and 2024. And in the fall of 24, we came out with a focus that we brought to the community in the form of a survey. We sent it to all the people who live in the Ocean Park neighborhood. In addition to those who currently attended SMASH, and we had a really strong response to the model of human-centered, experiential or project-based learning, multi-age classrooms, embedded social emotional learning, and a global or community impact model. So once we got through that, we started talking about naming as it reflected, went through that process, talked to many educational partners on that. And we delivered a survey in June of 2025. And with that, we had a ranked survey. So you could vote for most preferred, second most preferred, and least preferred. There were 172 participants. This went out to former John Muir families. It went out to current Ocean Park residents who had school-age children, went out to SMASH current families and alumni. And also there were responses from just other folks who were in the district. Of the 172, there were 97 that most preferred Ocean Park Schoolhouse. Not everybody filled out most, second, least, so the numbers don't all add up to 172 across the board, but it was a real, the next closest was Ocean Park Community School, which had 36 most preferred. Based upon after a vote, we would have a news release and social media campaign. We would inform the California Department of Education, because when you change a name, that has implications, which means that would happen, you don't do that mid-year. That means that would happen in July 1 of 2026. The campus is scheduled to be open in January. And then at that point, there's more process for engagement around mascots, colors, things like that for the current school. As you know, the expansion has already started of that school. We've added 3 classes this year, 2 TK. TK had not existed on that campus, and 1 additional kinder. And we look to scale that up as expeditiously and thoughtfully as possible. So that gives you kind of a reminder of where we've been with this. Questions?
Stacy?
I'm not sure how appropriate this question is, but I'm just curious because we had something similar happen when Malibu Middle and Malibu High became 2 separate schools. So with these 2 schools, with John Muir and with SMASH, and now there's a new name, are they getting a new unique like school ID, or is it just changing to one or the other? Is the other one dissolving? That's kind of a nerdy.
No, it's a good nerdy question. So anyone who lives in that boundary is prioritized for that school. It is a neighborhood school that will have a new school ID. We just can't do that mid-year.
Thank you. And looking through all and talking about the different waves, I really appreciate, this was so contentious. This was all coming on right as Alicia and I were coming on the board before and after. And it's you get so tied to your schools, and Malibu really felt that with Point Dume Elementary and with Juan Cabrillo Elementary. And then as they merged together in 2018, and then it takes years to build all that back up. So I just appreciate the care that was taken then and all that was learned and what was applied here to really help the community and the constituents of each of the existing schools move in. It doesn't mean it's going to be easy still, but just that the work is acknowledged and it's an iterative process to help people hold on to who they were and bring it in new ways, but then create something new. So thank you.
Thank you, Stacey.
I'll just add to that because I think that was well put. Having been to a pretty difficult meeting with some of the teachers and with a couple of my colleagues, this has been a process, a challenging one, a difficult one. It's harder on some people than others. For some people, the name means nothing, and I've heard from people who've said that, and other people, it's everything. So I feel like this is of the choices, this preserves, I think, makes it clear this is a neighborhood school. And I think the neighborhood of Ocean Park feels that, regardless of whether they have kids in the schools, had them before, will have them in the future. And I think it also sort of, I don't know what the right words are, pays homage, I guess, to Smash by using schoolhouse in the name. Because those are the people who are most upset that they're losing the name. So I think actually Stacy said it very well about all of it. I think in ways it's has different dimensions than the combination of Point Doom and Cabrillo, but any combination of schools is going to come up with its challenges. And I appreciate your saying that it's going to take a while for it to all work itself out, because I think it will. But on the other hand, they've got an incredible, I think, incredibly successful approach to education. And I expect it to blossom and be even better. So anyway, I want to say I appreciate what has been done here to get to this point, and I support the name.
So I was just wondering, I'm so sorry, I just got a little note. I totally lost my train of thought. You were, oh, no, because, so this is what I would, and I believe, and if you would confirm, that the new classes that were added this year, the TK, it was overwhelming and from that neighborhood, and that people are very excited about it. People are very excited to join the school, create the school, build the school, and move into the campus.
We've had a really positive response to it. We have two full TKs, always leaving a little space in case someone moves in. We want it to be a true neighborhood school and an additional kindergarten. So we have 2 TKs and 2 Ks, and we hope to scale it up, as I said, as thoughtfully as possible.
And they're full.
Yeah, they're. I don't know what the exact numbers are of, but we had a large response to it.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Great. Maria,
is there 2 classrooms of TK coming in?
Yeah.
So
yeah, this year they had 2 TK classrooms and they added a kindergarten.
Oh, kindergarten. Also,
so from 0 TKs to 2, and then a kinder, which will really help feed the program on the way up.
Yeah.
Right. One other question I wanted, because I know prior to that, Smash was not necessarily a neighborhood. They didn't recruit from neighborhood families. So what's going to happen with that? Is it just primarily we're now going to be recruiting from the Ocean Park area, right? Families to come back. Okay.
Yeah, and I think there's always been recruitment for the neighborhood and a desire for the neighborhood to attend that school. I know that Principal Risch I've spoken with her many times on that. At this point, though, this will be a neighborhood school like Will Rogers, like Franklin, like Roosevelt, like any of our Malibu schools if you live there. And then we have a district permit process, that an intra-district process for those who are also interested, which is true of any other school except Edison, which is still a school of choice.
Okay, thank you.
So this is an action item, so we would need to approve the name, and Maria moves the motion to approve the name. Lori
second,
and Lori seconds. And I'm just gonna, Richard asked me for a moment for him to speak, so I'm gonna give it to him.
Oh, colleague, I'd like to have a personal privileged moment after the vote's been taken, please. Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry. We'll do that. So there's a motion and a second. So Alicia, you're okay? Do you want to, you have anything to ask or? Oh, okay. So yeah, so no hand raised, but just wanted to check in. Okay. So, all right, so we'll take the vote. So, Alicia, can I ask you first? Sarah, do we think we have her still? Okay.
Should I make the rounds? Okay. So Haley, do you want to take a vote?
Yes.
Okay. John,
Yes.
Stacy,
Yes.
Richard,
Yes.
Maria,
Yes.
Lori,
Yes.
I'm a yes. And do we have Alicia? I wanted to, give her as much leeway as possible. Technology is not always the best, but okay. Okay, so that has passed. So, and now, Richard, you can have your moment.
Thank you, colleagues. I just wanted to be able to make my comments after I cast my affirmative vote in favor of the name for our new neighborhood school. I also want to just remind everybody, I think everybody on the dais knows my feeling and my sentiment, and I appreciate the staff and its work, their work, and Dr. Shelton, I appreciate you especially. I do want to take an opportunity that I see an open door in Dr. Richardson's slide that says next steps. And the next steps include a process for a school community to choose school colors, logo, mascot, etc. It's never lost on me that not a single school in our district is named for a woman of importance in our community. And I could imagine in a future conversation in our neighborhood school community that there could be a woman's name attached to the Ocean Park Schoolhouse. And I don't want to lose sight of that possibility in an open deliberation with the community, particularly the community of the neighborhood children who will flourish there at that schoolhouse. And of course, I have my own personal favorites like the Ruth Bader Ginsburg Ocean Park Schoolhouse. And I wanted to speak that out into the universe. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Richard.
Thank you, Richard.
And just like I told you the last time, let the community decide.
Okay. So we'll move on to action item number 2, the annual public hearing and adoption of resolution number 2510, sufficiency of instructional materials and Williams Settlement instructional material funds. So is there a motion to open the hearing? Maria, I see Stacy's hand is second, so we'll vote on the opening of the hearing. Haley?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Stacy?
Yes.
Richard?
Yes.
Maria?
Yes.
Lori?
Yes.
I'm a yes. Alicia? Or is there anybody here for the public hearing? Do we have any notes of that? No?
I move we close the public hearing.
Okay, Richard moves that we close the public hearing. Maria seconds. We'll vote to close the hearing. Haley?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Stacy?
Yes.
Richard?
Yes.
Maria?
Yes.
Lori?
Yes.
And I'm a yes. Okay, thank you for that. Moving on to major action item number 3, adoption of resolution number 2511, authorizing the issuance and sales of general obligation bonds to school facilities improvement district number 2. Oh, I'm so sorry. We need to adopt it? Okay. Sorry, so we are not moving on to action item number 3. We are staying with annual public hearing and we have to adopt the resolution. The hearing's closed, so we're adopting the resolution. So Maria is a motion to adopt the resolution
Second.
and Richard seconds. Do the vote. Haley?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Stacy?
Yes.
Richard?
Yes.
Maria?
Yes.
Lori?
Yes.
And I'm a yes. Okay. Now we're going to move on to major action item number 3 for the general obligation bonds. Gerardo and John. John, hi.
Good evening, Board. Gerardo Cruz, Assistant Superintendent of Business and Fiscal Services. Tonight before you will be having a presentation by Mr. John Barrissey, Managing Director of Baird & Company, and along with 2 of our presenters online, John Isom with Isom Advisors, as well as Courtney Jones, who's our bond attorney from Jones Hall LLP. They'll just be discussing today for you items 3 and 4, the sale of your measure Venture MM Series A bond, as well as a potential refinancing of your existing bonds in item number 4. So without further ado, John Barrissey, John Isom, and Courtney Jones.
Great. Good evening, board, Superintendent Shelton, executive staff. Nice to see you tonight. And we do have a presentation here that we will go through. And I'm going to start with an update. As you know, last February was the last time we were in front of you discussing bond matters. And we have an item here that we'd like to give you some recent facts and findings, a summary of the impact of the Palisades fire on the school district, your tax base and tax rates heading into this year, 25-26. So just in general, just going back through a couple of these items to summarize is that you know that there was a executive order put in place, delaying, allowing the delay of property tax payments without penalty through April of 2026. So that, factored into a couple of things, a lot of stress, wondering how that would pan out for your tax base and your outstanding bonds. But we do have some good news to report on that down at the bottom here. But I'm going to give you right into what happened to your assessed valuation as a result of the fire. So in looking back in time, 2018, when you went through the Woolsey fire in Malibu, the district actually did not experience a decline in their assessed valuation. There was actually an increase. This time around, with the Palisades fire, it was different. You realized a negative 0.4 growth. So effectively break even, just a slight decline. And you may ask, well, why is that? And there's a reason for it. Obviously, there was a lot of damage to both commercial and residential property. And what happens through periods of trauma or events like this, you will see what we call Proposition 8 rollbacks of the assessed valuation, where a property structure has been destroyed. It will be reassessed for a period of time until another property is either built there, a sale occurs of that property, et cetera. And while that is an initial negative, there's a couple of positives that we take from that, especially given the district Malibu SFID 2 just passed a recent bond in 2024. So the positives here as a result of this is that it's more than likely that the assessed valuation will rebound as the growth and the rebuilding occurs. How long that will take? Probably 1 to 2 years along those lines as that occurs. If a lot of property is sold and those original properties were valued, due to Prop 13, very low, they sell for a very high price. That also impacts positively to your assessed valuation. So you have all these items that are going to be impacting the Malibu SFID 2, and we'll just have to wait and see how quickly that recovers and what the impact of that is. So that's number one. Number two is that, what does that mean because you have outstanding bonds, one, district-wide bonds that cover both Santa Monica and Malibu. You have SFID 1, which is Santa Monica itself only. That portion of the district was unfazed by the fire. And then you have SFID 2, which experienced all of the damage within the district in that section, and then also, of course, into the Palisades itself, which is part of LAUSD. So when you take a look at that, what does that mean for taxpayers? So the district-wide bonds, while no impact was done to Santa Monica, there are district-wide bonds that are paid by both areas, and the district-wide assessed valuation, as you'll see later in this presentation, grew at 2.4%. So the negative, Santa Monica grew at 4%, just like we expected. So that's great, but the negative of Malibu impacted the district-wide. So from the district-wide bonds, the increase in tax rates will be about 77 cents per 100,000. So generally, when we think of that and say that number, that's very minimal overall when you consider what has occurred and what that means financially. When you take a look at SFID 2 itself, you're going to see tax rates increase about $1.30 to $2 per 100,000 of assessed value. So that's going to be the impact. It could be 1 year, it could be 2, and there may be a big reduction once assessed valuation recovers, as we mentioned above. So just want you to know what those impacts are. The important item to note here is that the tax rates for both the Santa Monica area and Malibu area were estimated to voters to be about $120 per 100,000 overall. And you'll see we have a tax rate schedule in the back that aggregates everything for each taxing area, and you're about $118, $117. So you're, I'm sorry, it was 130 was the total, I believe. So you're like $12 or $13 less than what you promised your voters overall. So, and that's including the first series of the new elections that have come on board of the $30 and $40 respectively for those new bond elections. So that includes that already. So with that, we go to the bottom half of this and talk a little bit more about property tax collections. This is a real positive. So while that holiday was in effect, there was no material non-collection of property taxes, which was great. That would have caused a little bit of an issue, and it did not. And LA County built in what's called an additional delinquency for this year, just given the fact that this occurred. Pasadena Unified was another school district that was impacted by fires, and they also built in what's called a 7% delinquency factor. Usually it's 4%, so that impacts the tax rate information we just shared with you a bit too. So with all of that said, would love to take questions if you have on that information, and then we can roll right into the other information we have on the Malibu SFID 2 bonds and the respective refunding and some market information for you.
Any questions out there? Nope. Okay, I think we're okay. Oh, no, this only from the dais, please. Thank you.
Here, fell off there. There we go. All right. Thank you. So here I'm going to turn it over to Mr. John Isom, your municipal advisor. He's going to begin speaking here about your funding need for the Malibu section, and then we'll be chiming in here back and forth. And Courtney Jones, your bond counsel, is also on the line. So when we get to the point about any of the legal documentation structure, she's available to answer any questions as well. So.
Thank you, John. Good evening, everybody. John Isom with Isom Advisors. We're the district's financial advisor, fiduciary on the district's bond program. So I'm just going to take you really quickly through kind of the process from here. Where do we go from here, and why is Measure MM proposed the way that it's going to be proposed? So good news is we have clarity. As John pointed out on the prior slide, one of the big questions is what impact is that going to have on our tax base, since Measure MM is based on our tax base. So having that clarity on what assessed value actually is this year and what its expectation is going forward makes these bond programs much easier to structure and put in place to keep our commitments to voters as far as tax rates go. The other commitment to voters is projects. And so as you see here, this is a kind of a funding need breakdown of what kinds of projects are proposed to be done in the districts in the next 2.5 years. And you can see with this table here on the left, second column, grand total of about 159 million. And then you see the cash flow needs over the 4 quarters in 2026, the 4 quarters in 2027. So the district needs about 159 million. We have about 30 million in cash on hand that's available for those projects. So our first issuance need is about 130 million. And of course, the question is, with interest rates today, with assessed value today, can we accommodate that? And the answer is yes. So next slide will show you what we're proposing by way of a structure and how this kind of goes forward with respect to other timing issuances. Now the table below, or I should say the first table there, shows the 130 million for 2025. You can note as we move to the right, a next draw would be in 2028, followed by one in 2030, and that would give us our 395 million in total bond proceeds. The key assumptions that go into this is long-term assessed value growth of 5%, a tax rate of $40. Okay, and right now we've based these off of market interest rates. So things could change. Assessed value may not materialize, or it could be greater than expected, as has been the tradition. And things could also change with respect to our tax base and interest rates. So interest rates could be lower, they could be higher. But right now, this gives us an idea of what a likely cash flow would look like with respect to the bond program. But understand that, of course, every year we'll have to reevaluate and look and see, all right, are interest rates there to support us? Is our tax base there to support us? The second table that I wanted just to point out is to give you an idea of some of the key borrowing metrics of $130 million and where we are with respect to the assumptions and interest rates based on a certain underlying rating from Moody's and S&P, which, if you recall, you're the almost AAA, you're about as high as you can get at a AA1, AA+, and what those borrowing costs might look like. So I'm not going to go over every little line item here, but I do want to highlight the true interest cost, which is most commonly what interest rate did you get? While you might sell 25 unique bonds, each carrying its own interest rate, our software does a calculation to basically give you an average. So the 4.79% that you see there, just about in the middle of a true interest cost, is what we're projecting conservatively to be the borrowing cost of that $130 million. The total net debt service would be just about double, $260 million. So for every dollar in principal we borrow, we're looking at a dollar in interest that's used to repay, and a tax rate of the $40 that we had estimated to voters. Lastly, just so you know what our recommendation is, we've had different conversations with the FOC on this topic. There's this call optionality that you look at each time you sell bonds. And an investor, when they buy your bonds, typically are willing to take a low interest rate because they know you're not going to go out and refund them out from underneath them next year or in 2 years or in 3 years. That's what a call is. And a call date is typically 10 years. It can be 9, it can be 8. The shorter the call, the more pricey the premium is that you pay and higher interest rates, because those investors don't get to enjoy a guaranteed 8 years, 9 years, or 10 years. But in our scenario here, we're recommending the district accept an 8-year call. While there's a little bit of a price penalty for that, what that 8-year call allows us to do is, is refund these bonds in 8 years as opposed to 9 years or 10 years. And when you have $130 million of bonds that are going to be outstanding, and we can get into a refunding 8 years from now, we believe that we can refund and save taxpayers even more money than if we had to wait an extra 2 years. So we've done that before on the last bond sale. So we want to do a similar shorter call on this bond sale. Next slide. Also want to bring to your attention, and this is going to be your second resolution for consideration on this topic, and that's a refunding opportunity of some outstanding bonds. As Mr. Barrissey pointed out, the tax rate, even with a decline due to the fires, is causing a minimal increase than what was projected. Overall tax rates are down by at least $12 per 100,000 of assessed value. That's in part, one, our bond programs have been very conservative, but two, as a board, the district has taken advantage of refunding old bonds that have higher interest rates, swapping them out with bonds that will carry lower interest rates, and that savings goes directly to the taxpayer. Okay, The school district general fund gets zero benefit from these refundings. It's 100% a benefit to the taxpayer. So without getting into all of the details, you can see the different bonds that are available there from 2016 and refunding bonds in 2012, different bonds. So we look at all of the opportunities that exist. And when you do the analysis, you can see on the table to the right what the ultimate punchline is. And this would be if we were to refund these bonds that currently are what we say in the money, meaning there is a positive savings by refunding them, you're looking at about a $65 million par amount. The TIC in that scenario is 2.66%. So put another way is we have these bonds that have higher interest rates. If we were to refund them now, we could do so at only 2.66%. The reason for that being lower, in case you're wondering, is the term. These bonds only go out to about 2035. So there's only 10 years of repayment remaining on these refunding bonds, whereas the new bonds have a 30-year repayment term. So the shorter the borrowing, the lower the interest rate. But as I said, punchline gross savings, fourth line item there is about $5.6 million that would be to the benefit of the taxpayer. One other thing I'd like to point out on this slide is that there is a calculus that we do in the industry, and that calculus is represented by NPV savings percentage, and that shows you a 6.43%. What that means is that in our industry, unlike a home mortgage refi that you could do a refunding and improve your month-to-month cash flow, but you actually might be borrowing more money than you currently had outstanding, and you might reset the clock to 30 years, even if you're in year 26 of your mortgage. A school bond cannot do that. You cannot add terms, add length. You cannot do something that doesn't financially benefit you, not only on a cash flow basis, but on an overall basis. And this NPV savings as a percent, stands for net present value, is a calculus that helps guide us of how good of an opportunity is this for the district. So if you were 1% NPV savings, you wouldn't do it. In fact, in our industry, there's a 3% benchmark that folks generally suggest. The district here has established a 5% minimum. So we're well above the 5% minimum. Certainly, this is something that we are recommending that the district approve because this would benefit the property taxpayers again. One notation on this that I want to point out is the term itself. This is what's known as what we call a forward refunding. And that means that our call date isn't for another several months. In fact, it's not until April. So you might say, well, then, John, I thought we had to wait. You just said that 8-year call means we have to wait 8 years. There is a tool that school districts and other municipalities use called a forward delivery. And that is where an underwriter says, hey, I'm willing to take a risk here, and I'm willing to assume that these bonds 6 months from now or 5 months from now, interest rates are going to be equal to or maybe lower than they are today. And I'm willing to lock in savings for you, school district, understanding that those savings may not be there in April of 2026. And in this scenario, there's what we call a 25 basis point premium that's part of this analysis. Put another way, if interest rates remain the same today as they would be in April 2026, the district would actually save more money. If the district had interest rates go down in April 2026, you would save even more money. But if interest rates were to go up by 25 basis points, then we would be in a scenario where we would save an equal amount of money. So it's the old idiom, a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. So approving this resolution would deputize your district administrators, your finance team, give us the ability and the authority to go forward. We may elect to monitor the market and sit on the refunding if there is an expectation that rates are going to be the same or to go down. Or we might say, you know what, let's not gamble with taxpayer money. $5.6 million is a lot of money. Maybe it could have been 6.6 million. Maybe the refunding goes away. Maybe it's 3 million, but that's a determination that would be made. But it meets the district's base criteria of 5%, and certainly is an opportunity that we wanted to bring forward to your attention on this topic. The last thing on the slide, just at the bottom there's a refunding that we've done since 2019. And this is interesting because these were your atypical refundings as well. And I say that because a forward delivery is not your plain vanilla, it's just an atypical refunding. But each of these refundings here, we used a different tool. In that case, in each of those scenarios, it was what's called a taxable refunding. So rather than do a tax exempt, we did a taxable. But you see on the far right-hand side, the punchline, refunded $300 million, saved almost $29 million for property taxpayers in the district, all of which, of course, were above the 5% threshold net present value. And candidly, we can thank COVID for those extraordinary low interest rates. So these bonds will never be refunded again, but $29 million was a heck of a savings for the district. Next slide. Just some context here as far as the district's issuance history. I thought you would like to see, when the district has previously sold bonds. You'll note that the blue dots are new money bond issuances and the red dots are refundings. And then, of course, the dot across is a kind of a 20-year average. And you see where the district has sold several bonds above market rates, above average rates, several bonds below market rates. And you just get an idea that despite what I would say is a perception of awful interest rates from a historical perspective, you strip out COVID, you strip out Brexit, we're kind of at where interest rates historically have been. So some additional context for you there. Next slide. Just to conclude, and apologies for those that might not see the small font, but just a very quick overview of the process. I'm not going to go through each line item, but essentially a bond sale, including the refunding, including the MM, would follow the following timeline and carry really similar 3 steps. Step 1 is establish all the legal parameters. That's the legal documents that you have before you as a board. That basically puts our bumper lanes up as to how we can go about selling the bonds and what the parameters are and the legal definitions of what we can and cannot do. Step 2 is to get the bonds prepped for sale. That is the same process that we've done before, which you go get a credit score or a credit rating, meeting with S&P and Moody's, sharing our story, explaining some of our warts, highlighting our strengths, and again, coming away with a very high underlying rating. Just like individuals who borrow money for a car loan or a home loan, the better your credit score is, the cheaper it is for you to borrow money. Same is true here. As a AA+, AA1, you're one notch away from perfection, guys. I think that's our expectation going forward, is to affirm or retain those ratings, and that will allow us to borrow money at a very cheap rate. And then step 3, once the bonds have been prepped, is we actually go sell them. We go and we work with John Barrissey and his team and the underwriting team, who will go line up investors who want to buy your bonds. We act as fiduciary in that negotiating process. So we, try to beat up those investors and twist some arms to make sure that the interest rates are as low as possible. Of course, they want interest rates that are as high as possible. But at the conclusion of that pricing, the bonds are locked in. The underwriter essentially signs the paying agent agreement, the BPA or the bond purchase agreement, and then 2 weeks later, and right now we're targeting early December for the closing date of the financing. So as far as cash flow and new money, this is our tentative timeline. As far as the refunding, it could follow a similar timeline. In fact, we will likely follow it from legal and prep, and we may opt to time the pricing on the refunding because that's more interest rate sensitive. I think the last couple of slides really are appendix supplemental information. I know John had mentioned this. I do think it's worth pointing out if we skip ahead to the last slide. Yes, thank you. And that is the district-wide tax rates. Again, keeping in mind the original estimates to voters was $130 per $100,000 of assessed value when you add up all of the different bonds for each of the respective communities. And you can see, if you look on the far right-hand column, the total for Santa Monica area and the total for the Malibu area, well below and projected to be well below the $130 tax rate, even with last year's fire disaster. Anything, John Barrissey or Courtney Jones, that you'd like to add to the information shared?
I'm happy to summarize the legal documents that are before the board, perhaps following questions on the presentation.
I think I didn't know that Seth was here to speak on this item. So we do have a speaker from the Financial Oversight Committee here who I think all of this always goes to our Financial Oversight Committee before it comes to the board. So my apologies. I had no idea from your chit that you wanted to speak on this, but now's the time, I think, because we would have had you earlier, but it doesn't make sense to wait.
Thank you. I didn't know the new rule that you had to speak at the beginning of the meeting on items, so apologies. Seth Jacobs in the Financial Oversight Committee. I'm not on the bond committee, but I am on the budget subcommittee. I just wanted to point out two things. One is we did a deep dive into their presentation at the last FOC meeting, and we concluded pretty much what you're going to hear tonight, which is the bond optionality and the opportunity here is to save taxpayers money. And we often don't have a lot of good news to tell taxpayers when it comes to bonds. And particularly given the fact that the district is more likely to be doing more bonding in the near future. The FOC voted unanimously to support the efforts of what you're about to do. Plus, it gives us a runway to look at interest rates and for them to look at interest rates, and for the district to really consider options. And given that interest rates are most likely going to go up a little bit more, you are going to save the district money. So I just wanted to share that. Thank you.
Thank you, Seth.
Okay, so do you have any questions, John?
Yeah, just to clarify something, and Seth, thank you for recapping the FOC conversation because I concur with how Seth put that. My question is for exactly what we are approving tonight. It seems clear that we are approving to move forward with $130 million of Series A bonds from 2024. That's clear. The other thing that's not clear to me in the item is the potential refunding. As I recall from the FOC meeting, what we wanted to do, John Ison presented an option that we have not used before, which is this the forward refunding, if I'm using this proper term, where you pay 25 basis points to lock in some guaranteed savings, and it sort of hedges the district a little bit. Seth, and you can agree with me or disagree, I felt the guidance from the FOC was we want to put our staff in best position to move quickly, but we weren't quite ready to commit to that at this moment. So we wanted to pass along the authority to start exploring this, and then come back to the board when they are ready. So I just want to make sure that we are not approving the actual refunding, but the ability to explore this and then come back to us when ready. That's how I remember it. I just want to make sure that we're talking about the same thing.
Gerardo, would you have any input on that?
I concur with Board Member Keen. It was a discussion. So yes.
I guess one of the things I would say is that maybe you should set a minimum savings threshold that you're comfortable with. Because the package that you have is approving all of the documentation to act in a expeditious manner if that were to be your choice. So I would say that with what was just explained by Board Member Keen, what you have in front of you is actually authorizing the district to issue the refunding bonds. That doesn't mean you have to do it, because the district ultimately makes the choice to move forward and do it. What I would envision would happen if you were to approve it, there would be another conversation. If you set a savings threshold, whether it's 5 million net present value savings, whatever that number is that you feel appropriate to get this refunding done on a forward or what we call a current refunding basis, meaning that you either wait for time to pass, whether rates go up or down, or you do what's being described in the presentation, that you're comfortable with that number, that is worthy to move forward with the refunding regardless of what method is used. Once that is achieved and discussed, then we will monitor the market and then act based upon that. I would say that you have a couple things going on out there where the reason this is advantageous to you and even bringing to your attention is we had a reduction of 25 basis points at the last Fed meeting, which is great. And the reason these refundings haven't been looked at is because you had what's called a yield curve, which was flat, meaning that short-term rates, long-term rates were equally high over the past several years due to inflation that started in 2022, that started to decrease towards the end of last year and is now picking up again. So what we have now, when you also look at that chart, you saw that rates were on the higher level today, right? And you'd ask, well, why can we refinance today? And this is why. The bonds are what we call short term, 10 years and under. If the bonds had a final maturity of 2045 to 55, you wouldn't even be looking at this because it would be too costly for you. But what's great is that these bonds are 10 years and in, short, meaning that short-term rates are coming down. So the yield curve, which was flat like this at say 4%, the short-term rates are now 2.5%. So now you have this anomaly where it makes sense, it's advantageous for you to take a look at this. And the decision that will be made is that as time goes on and as data comes out or doesn't come out, given where we are with this shutdown, right? So you're going to have to take a look at, should we wait if we hit our threshold or do we pull the trigger? And that's why you have John Isom, your municipal advisor, to take a look at it. We'll also consult with the FOC once that savings threshold is met to say, is it time based upon the data that's readily available, or you continue to wait and you could do it in the spring. If that's what you'd like to do.
I think the conversation, John, I appreciate that. We did set a policy a few years ago through the FOC for the net value and net present value savings, and we set that 5% threshold. Right. So clearly, from a percentage point of view, we are in the refunding territory where we are interested. I think the difference of opinion or the hesitation to move at this moment was the idea of using those 25 basis points to sort of collar where we were. From that point of view, we were not ready to make that decision. So anything we can do to put you in a better position to move quickly once you come back for that approval and discussion, I want to do. I just want to make sure that we are on the same page talking about the same thing.
Sure. So would you like to, so if you do approve it, would the protocol be to go back to the FOC or to come back to the board itself?
The protocol would be to go to the FOC bond subcommittee once we want to take action. And we are putting ourselves in position where we've already had this preliminary discussion and we can move with expediency then. But we were not prepared. And again, Gerardo, please help me here. We were not prepared at that last meeting to say, yes, go ahead and do this now, because we are confident that this is the right move to make.
Sure.
None of us have a crystal ball with what's happening with interest rates, Fed minutes coming out, this week. No one knows, but we felt that there is some still upside out there for us to benefit from, and that the need to act like that wasn't present right now.
Sure.
But again, Gerardo, please.
No, I agree, but I thought my understanding was that we needed this to have that expediency first.
And I just want to make it clear to everybody here, we are not saying, yes, go refund right now.
Correct.
We're saying go explore, do your work, and come back to us when you're ready to go and give us that economic information.
Correct.
If I could chime in, guys.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
No, please, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I think there would be great value in the district providing flexibility, either in the form, as Mr. Barrissey suggested, in a minimum level of savings, or in the form of, okay, if we get a buy-in from the FOC subcommittee, because by taking action now, we would be on our way, we would get the bonds rated, we would have all of the legal documentation, we would position ourselves to take advantage of the marketplace. What I would not want to see happen is that rates drop, we've done everything to get ourselves in position for success, and then we say, oh, well, but we have to go back to the board, and we miss that window. So whether it is, and that's your prerogative, we certainly can come back to the board, and we probably actually, based on the timeline, have enough time to come back to you. But that's your prerogative. But I'm always a fan of being nimble, because interest rates, as you saw on that historical chart of interest rates, and it's just a big yo-yo. There are times where rates drop, and you want to be able to have that flexibility to pounce. So again, whether that's direct.
I think, John, thank you. And there's too many damn people named John right now in this conversation. So John, I said, thank you for that. Look, I think we're muddying the water here. I think what we're trying to say is we are in a position now where I am absolutely all for going forward with the bond authorization. And I am all in favor of putting ourselves in position to move quickly once we want to take that action. I do think it has to go back to the FOC bond subcommittee.
Sure.
And we have board meetings every 2 weeks. We're not going to miss a window. So we can give you all the approvals you need now to prepare. What we're not saying right now is go do it for the refi, for the refunding.
Yeah, it makes sense. And then
as long as we're saying the same things.
Yeah, I think that we understand it exactly as that. Yeah, so I think what you in a couple of minutes, if you approve that, then we will, by the time we get to, November 1st or a little bit after that, we'll probably start checking in with you to say, okay, we have more, there's another Fed meeting before that date, and we'll get the ratings for the Malibu SFID bonds. And then these ratings that you'll get for the refunding bonds are good for 6 months. And so that's the time frame that we would probably commence this. And then starting November 1st-ish, we'll start taking a look at rates and see where the savings are. We'll have some more information, and then present it, and then give guidance on us and to us, and then we'll go from there.
Right, and that 6 month window.
Hold on, John. Lori's been waiting to ask. Oh, go ahead, Lori.
Well, I'm trying to follow what it is you do and don't want us to do, and what we should and shouldn't do. And so it sounds to me like what John, it feels, not to put you on the spot, but what you're proposing is more to treat this as if it were a discussion item, to say, yes, we want to do this, and come back to us when you want us to pull the trigger and pass the resolution. That's what it sounds like to me. Because otherwise I would like to ask Courtney whether passing a resolution like this without some caveats is basically committing to something that you're saying we're not ready to commit to, and that the FOC said we're almost there, but we're not there yet.
Well, I'm glad Courtney's here, because that is a question I wanted to ask her, because in the resolution, it's clearly about the selling of the bonds. It's not about the refunding of the bonds.
Thank you, Vice President Lieberman, for bringing up the topics. I will explain what needs to be done from a legal perspective. Under state law, to refinance bonds, there must be a board-approved resolution in place. And that is what is before the board tonight, a resolution authorizing the refinancing of the bonds described here. In accordance with all state law requirements, savings must be obtained, the term cannot be extended, as well as the requirements of the board's, the district's financial management policy must be satisfied, as well as your fiduciaries are here, are by this presentation instructed to only advise moving forward within the parameters presented. But to your point, Board Member Keene, if this resolution is adopted as is tonight, it would give the team and staff authority to proceed with the issuance of the refunding bonds. And if the motion is made with conditions, for example, going back to the FOC and clearly delineating those conditions, then the board might consider it. The other alternative, which might be the case based on the discussion, is that the board does not consider this resolution this evening. But the bottom line is that under state law to proceed, the team will need this resolution to be approved and in place.
And just for clarity, there are two board items. Item 3 is the Measure MM sale, and then item 4 is the refinancing. So both resolutions are included in each of the separate items.
And if I could just add a little bit of clarity too, just really quickly, is that, because I think like Board Member Keene said it, like I think we are muddying the waters a little bit of understanding of what's in front of us. And it is, as Courtney explained, the resolution to be in position to do it. And you can add, if you feel comfortable, add a clause, approve it with a clause saying that, upon, approval from the FOC bond subcommittee of the savings levels, that the bonds would be sold. Or you could adopt it as is. We would never just go sell bonds without approval from the subcommittee, FOC, and the district. So this doesn't by approving this resolution doesn't mean we just do it without your authority and just go sell bonds. So you have to be comfortable with what the savings levels are. You can wait as long as you want. You do not have to proceed if you do not want to. So that's already built into the process itself, just for explaining that clearly.
Maria?
Just if I understand through the sale, I mean, I'm talking about for the refinancing, and we've done it in the past, but like you said, what's changed now that in the past, the refinancing, the funds would come back to the district for more construction. You would reuse that but we would never refund them back to the voters.
Oh, no, that's not what we said. Sorry if we communicated that. It just, all of these savings go back to the taxpayers and lower taxes.
Okay.
Yeah, John.
Okay, so there are two, I guess I missed the point where we said we were combining items 3 and 4. So clearly we have combined items 3 and 4, which is fine.
I think we just combined them in the presentation.
Okay.
They're separate.
So maybe we should
separate them.
For item 3, which is the $130 million approving that bond, I'm ready to move that now.
So you want to make the motion?
I would move item 3 now.
Okay, and Maria seconds? Okay, so we can take a roll call. Are there any more questions on the sale of bonds? I think everyone, so we'll take a vote. Alicia?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Haley?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Stacy?
Yes.
Richard?
Yes.
Maria?
Yes.
Lori?
Yes.
And I'm a yes. Okay. So now we can dive deeper into item 4. And what I'm hearing you say, John Barresi, is that I hear that maybe some people want to put some brakes on the thing, but no matter what happens, there are brakes. They already exist. Mm-hmm. So I'm not sure how we come to how we decide on the numbers on this dais. John?
Well, because we don't. I think what we do is the resolution before us starts a process to go through a refunding. It starts a deliberate process that puts us in position to get our bond rating, get proverbial ducks in a row so that we can move when necessary. It has always been our practice before finally moving, unless we've already established a threshold, to come back to this board for final approval, I believe, or at least if we have not set that threshold. So I'm fine approving resolution number 4. Sorry, resolution 2512 for the refunding, as long as I know that we will still have that there's still you are going to come back to us before action is taken.
Yes, I mean, if that's what you would like to do, that is completely fine. Or the alternative of the FOC bond subcommittee signing off. So it's whichever pathway you would like to have.
Historically, we have gone back to the FOC for final. I think we give the board gives the authority here, and then before that lever is pulled, the FOC subcommittee for the bonds does give the final weigh-in to make that final determination in consultation with the board liaisons.
Which I'm fine with that as well. I just want to make sure that we understand that we are not saying, yes, we are definitively doing this at this time.
Correct.
We're just giving ourselves the optionality to do it.
Correct. I think Courtney Jones was going to chime in as well.
Yeah. Yeah. The past practice and the consistent past practice with state law is that this resolution authorizes the issuance of the refunding bonds. And we traditionally have not come back to this board for further action once this is adopted. The board can direct that we come back, adopt this resolution, but come back to this board with a further presentation before the bond sale occurs. Or it can direct that we go back to the FOC and get sign off before the bond sale occurs. But this is typically the primary authorizing step of this board to proceed with a refinancing.
The only thing about this is the 25 basis points that we've never done before. So we're sort of being a little more cautious, and we want to make sure that there's a little bit more in place than just this resolution. Because Lori, did you want to?
So are you saying that this is what we've always done, that we've approved? I don't recall. Yeah. And I guess I'm not trying to be ridiculous about this, but it would be nice if there were some language in here that reflected what we're doing, which is saying we're commencing the process. You could change the title a little bit, and that says it contains board direction to go back to the FOC for final approval or something like that. I mean, I just don't like passing resolutions when we don't really mean that we're passing them.
Or we don't really know that we're just letting it out.
But
yeah.
Unless that's what I don't know.
If I may, just to chime in.
Yeah, go ahead.
At least the recent history of the district's bond refunding has been approve it at the board level, and provided that it meets the 5% threshold, get the refunding done. And in fact, that 5% is fairly new. That was part of this last time we went through these discussions, and we talked about taxable sales, and okay, that's unique, but if we save at least this much, we can pull the trigger and we don't have to worry about it. This is new. We haven't done a forward delivery, so I would grant and say that this is newer territory. Yes. And completely at the discretion of the board to add some stipulations. I think the most important thing from a fiduciary's perspective is to say, let's get the ball rolling. Let's get these prepped for sale. And if the board wants to provide additional direction, whether it be the FOC approval or come back to us, the board, and let's talk through what we think a minimum level of savings is, that's perfectly appropriate. But as far as past practice, it's been adopt. And as long as it's met the 5% criteria, we've moved forward.
Thank you.
And I think if I could make a technical recommendation for that, I think staff would recommend that it go back to the subcommittee for the bond, and then it just be approved within that subcommittee, and we could relay back to the board through a Friday memo or whatever the case. Because I don't want to have to also call an official meeting of the Financial Oversight Committee with the Brown Act as well. But I think if it can be discussed and final determination made at the subcommittee level and consultation with the board liaisons, I think that would satisfy what the board is trying to achieve.
Lori?
Okay, I'd rather have the language be in the resolution. I mean, I know this is ridiculous sounding, but in theory, we do these things because if we were all wiped out tomorrow, somebody would go, they pass this is supposed to happen, ... But this doesn't really say what's supposed to happen. It says this could happen tomorrow because it doesn't reflect. And I support what you're doing. I don't mean to be getting in the way. I just want to do what's responsible as a fiduciary. That's all.
So can I ask you, if we do adjust, just create the resolution to say that it goes back to the subcommittee of the FOC?
That's fine with me. I don't think it has to come. I trust the FOC bond committee.
Can we make that amendment to the resolution?
Yes, I would
Oh, sorry,
recommend.
Courtney.
Oh, yes, pardon. I would recommend adding language to section 3.01A, a final sentence. And it sounds like the final sentence would read, notwithstanding anything authorized herein, the bond sale shall not occur until the district staff has consulted with the board subcommittee and received approval of that committee. Is that what the board would like?
Yeah, the financial oversight bond subcommittee.
Correct. And I would add and board liaisons.
Of that.
And FOC liaisons.
Correct.
That sounds great.
Yes.
You may want to add something like electronic email confirmation of that, just so it's not verbal. There is actually something that we can rely upon, right?
Oh,
I mean, it seems like since we're going there, I think that's probably a good
No,
thing.
exactly. I think if Courtney emails the cleaned up new language, that will be what we adopt.
Right.
Thank you. Staff will work with Ms. Jones.
John, did you want to?
I was going to say, because the resolution doesn't specify what kind of refunding it's going to be. It doesn't specify if we're going to pay basis points to law. It doesn't specify that. That has to come from that consultation, and then that will be the action that we take.
But that's the flexibility we want to give. Right, I understand. Okay. Does everybody have any more questions or any concerns?
And just for my own final clarification as staff, once that process occurs with the subcommittee, we will not bring it back to the Board of Education because that's not the process we normally followed. And you just outlined the process that you would like to see.
I think that's true. Does anybody have any other concerns about that? That it just goes to the FOC subcommittee with the liaisons, and then if they approve,
it'll move forward.
It's refinanced. Okay.
Okay, staff, and we have our direction. Thank you.
Okay. And we are voting on an amended resolution that Courtney's going to send to us.
Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
I would move the amended resolution.
John moves the amended resolution. Lori?
I'll second it.
And Lori seconds it. So I will take the vote. Alicia?
Yes.
Haley?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Stacy?
Yes.
Richard?
Yes.
Maria?
Yes.
Lori?
Yes.
And I'm a yes. Thank you so much.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Okay, so on to this to complete the superintendent's performance evaluation for 2024 and amend the employment agreement. This is item number K5. This item is asking the Board of Education to approve the amendment of Dr. Antonio Shelton's employment agreement as superintendent. The original agreement was set to expire on June 30th, 2027, and will now expire on June 30th, 2028. The superintendent's current compensation into a tax sheltered annuity is $23,000 per contract year and has been extended through June 30th, 2028. All other items and conditions of the agreement not modified by this addendum shall remain in full force and effect up to and including June 30th, 2028. So that's the resolution before us about Dr. Shelton's contract amendment.
So moved.
Richard moves the item. Lori is seconding. We'll take a.
Madam President,
Yes.
may I say something about?
Yes, of course.
I'm just hearing earlier comments tonight about the incredible service of Dr. Shelton. If you would, I'd like to read this. I think it's with great appreciation and deep respect that myself and my colleagues celebrate Dr. Shelton's continued leadership for Santa Monica-Malibu Unified School District's Board of Education and the district at large. Dr. Shelton, your steadfast commitment to our students, your collaborative spirit, and your clear vision for educational excellence has strengthened our schools and inspired our community. Your service to this district is truly a gift, one that's rooted in compassion, integrity, and unwavering belief in the potential of every child. I hope we all adopt this performance review and extend Dr. Shelton's contract, and I'm going to vote yes with gratitude for his remarkable work and confidence in the bright future he continues to shape for all of our students in the district.
Thank you, Richard. I think the sentiment is unanimous. That is from what I know of my colleagues. So we now can take the vote. Alicia?
Yes.
Oh, yes, it was Richard and Lori. So yeah, I heard Alicia say yes. Haley?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Stacy?
Yes.
Richard?
Yes.
Maria?
Yes.
Lori?
Yes.
And I am a yes. Thank you very much. Thank you for your service, Dr. Shelton. We will move on to do item number 6, adopt resolution in support of Safe Schools Month.
Me to just read the be it resolved?
Yeah.
Okay. Bear with me because there are 4 or 5 or 6 of them. Be it resolved that Santa Monica-Malibu Unified School District holds regular drills as prescribed in both school site and district emergency plans, and that said plans involve all school district personnel, approved educational providers and community partners, local law enforcement, fire and medical rescue personnel, emergency management personnel, and others essential to preventing, mitigating, or resolving any potential crisis. Be it further resolved that SMMUSD reviews school site discipline rules and procedures to ensure that they are appropriately enforced, and that student parent handbooks explaining codes of conduct, unacceptable behavior, and disciplinary consequences are given to all students, parents, and caregivers. Be it further resolved that SMMUSD will continue to work with a broad spectrum of local community partners, law enforcement, mental health professionals, parents, students, teachers, and staff to take any threats of violence seriously and to develop, implement, and monitor policies and programs that foster and support a positive school climate free from harassment and violence. Be it further resolved that SMMUSD urges the state of California and the U.S. Congress to invest in wraparound services to prevent bullying, harassment, discrimination, and violence in our schools, and to provide funding for programs and staff such as counselors, nurses, and psychologists that support students' mental, physical, and emotional health. Be it further resolved that the SMMUSD urges the state of California and the U.S. Congress to provide strong leadership to prevent gun violence in schools and elsewhere in our communities, including pursuit of all legally permissible, wise, effective, and responsible means of regulating possession and availability of guns. That was long. Thank you.
That was long. Thank you, Lori. So that's the Safe Schools Month resolution. Is there a motion? Maria makes a motion. Stacy seconds. Alicia?
Yes.
Haley?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Stacy?
Yes.
Richard?
Yes.
Maria?
Yes.
Lori?
Yes.
And I'm a yes. So we'll move on to the Week of the School Administrator resolution.
The resolved is much shorter. Be it resolved by the governing board of the Santa Monica-Malibu Unified School District that all administrative school leaders in the Santa Monica-Malibu Unified School District be commended for the contributions they make to student achievement, the commitment they demonstrate to the overall well-being of students, and their impact on the communities they serve. Therefore, the board declares the week of October 12th to 18th, 2025, Week of the School Administrator in the Santa Monica-Malibu Unified School District.
Okay, Maria makes the motion to approve the resolution. Is there a second? Lori, okay. Alicia?
See each other.
Yes.
Oh, great. Yeah, it is hard to see each other down the line. Haley?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Stacy?
Yes.
Richard?
Yes.
Maria?
Yes.
Lori?
Yes.
And I'm a yes. And so next is the Recognizing United Against Hate Week.
Be it resolved that the Santa Monica-Malibu Unified School District Board of Education declares its support of United Against Hate Week in our communities, October 19th to 25th, 2025, through encouraging participation in educational and community events.
Okay, Maria moves. There a second?
I second.
Oh, Alicia is the second. Okay, and Alicia, vote?
Yes.
Haley?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Stacy?
Yes.
Richard?
Yes.
Maria?
Yes.
Lori?
Yes.
And I'm a yes. Okay, and the last thing on our major action items today is the approval of the application for exemption from the required expenditures for classroom teacher salaries. Gerardo, yes.
Good evening again, board. So this is a resolution that has come before you the last several years since we had an influx in COVID spending. Now that our COVID spending is dwindling down to nothing for this next school year, this also applies to any new block grants. And if you remember last board meeting where I talked extensively on the unaudited actuals and all the different block grants that come to the district in our educational services department, as well as in business services, we mentioned that those funds continue to relieve the general fund. So that's a precursor to that anytime you have additional block grants or COVID monies or categorical resources that are spending dollars on items outside of classroom teacher salaries, you're going to have to regularly approve this resolution like you are. So what that's saying is that, for example, for a $4.5 million block grant, if we use all of that for a textbook adoption, that contributes to us missing this threshold of the 55% to ensure that we're including that in classroom teacher salaries. So I remember you asked the question last year, because I went back and looked when you approved this last year, you asked how many more times are we going to have to continue to approve this type of resolution? And at that time, we didn't think any more state funding was going to come in. So we said, oh, 2 more years. But now with those 2 block grants that you're going to get, you have to spend those monies through June of the year 2030. So my point to that is that you'll continue to see this this resolution, this application for exemption, board resolution exemption, come back to at least 3 or 4 more years. So I just wanted to put that context because when I went back to look what you asked last year, you asked that question. And so we continue to not meet the 55% threshold, and the County Office of Education, LACO, asked that the board approves this application to be exempted from that threshold. And so that's what's before you today, giving staff the authority to submit the application for exemption to the County Office of Education.
Thank you, Gerardo, for that very thorough explanation. What's the threshold?
It's different for types of districts. Remember, there's elementary school districts, unified districts, as well as high school districts. As a unified district, our threshold is 55%.
And what is the dollar threshold that puts us over?
The dollar threshold, we missed the 55% by 5.83%, which that for us is equal to $11.6 $0.55 million.
Oh, okay.
So we missed that threshold by $11.5 million.
Okay, so we're not turning it down though. Okay.
That's correct. And we're not the only district experiencing this because of this influx of additional resources throughout the state, albeit momentarily and one time. That's our famous new word right now, one time.
Right.
Lots of school districts in the state and in our own county, the majority of them are having their boards file for this exemption as well. Board Member Rouse.
Yeah.
Is this a good time for me to make a comment? Okay. And I know something we've continued to talk about is why these one-time monies aren't being put into teacher and staff salaries, because we know that that's a big expense and something we all value. And because they're one-time, we've seen in other districts where they use these one-time monies for permanent positions, then later there are layoffs and they can't be sustained. And even though you look back and it has been over a period of years, it's been rolling different funds over different things, and it's not guaranteed that this would happen, and we're trying to prevent future layoffs. And so we put our salaries in through the bargaining process and other modes rather than relying on these one-time monies. So that's just easy to forget, and you look at it and you think it's a no-brainer. Why wouldn't we do this? And
yes.
I just want to say
You're exactly correct. The district does utilize its general fund for a lot of those salary enhancements that we have. In addition to what you're, I had a point. I thought you're, in addition to what you were saying about those, it was a brilliant point that I just forgot.
All right, well, you get back to us, sir.
I'll get back to you, but you hit it exactly right, Board Member Rouse.
Right, yes, yeah. Thank you. Okay, any other questions or comments? So is there a motion to approve the resolution, Maria? Right, is it
active tonight?
Oh, and Lori second. All
I
right.
think there's something about the.
Yeah, there is. It's a very odd way to. So Alicia.
Yes.
Great. Haley.
Yes.
John.
Yes.
Stacy.
Yes.
Richard.
Yes.
Maria.
Yes.
Lori.
Yes.
And I'm a yes. Okay, that moves us on to informational items. There's a quarterly report and the SMMCCA sunshining proposal. And then general public comments.
So I don't think it's possible. I think some of these people may not be here. Oh, maybe, wait, I didn't count from over there. Maybe there are. I have 13 chits for people who are here and then 4 online. So I think our practice is to make a 2-minute limit for each. Right. So why don't I name, we're going to take those who are here in the room first. I'll name 3 at a time, and so you can be prepared to speak. Maya Primorak, Mariel Hadid, and Wade Major.
All right. Did you hear me say thank you? All right. So my name is Maya Primorac, and I have 3 children at Malibu Elementary School, and I'm also a member of MES School Site Council. In my professional life, I audit quality, safety, and environmental management systems, and am an authorized OSHA trainer. I'm here today to address the effectiveness and implementation of the district safety program. There have been several incidences at MES that warranted formal documentation and risk assessment, yet based on my communication with the principal and other parents, it is unclear if appropriate steps were taken. Issue number 1 is coyote on campus. We had a coyote jump the school fence, specifically on 9/11 around 3:30 p.m., maybe 4. And this is a serious safety concern, provided that we have kids as young as 4 on our campus at that time, including one of mine. I request, as every other, honorably discharged U.S. Navy veteran, I followed my chain of command and I talked to the principal first. I asked her to approach the district and ask for this issue to be documented, for the district to do a risk assessment and appropriately respond. However, when she got back to, and I also made recommendations, which I will mention here, but she said that when she communicated to the district that the district is going to monitor the issue, which is inadequate. The principal is trying her best by training staff using online resources like Google Daddy, but without any formal documentation, risk assessment, and updated emergency plan, this remains insufficient. So for long-term solution and to drive down the risk of coyote incidents that result on an injury or fatality, I, together with other MES parents, ask the district to please implement or install cameras along the perimeter because this is a low-cost solution and will help you monitor the issue. Number two is higher fences and or install the rollers on top. Then please consider climb-resistant fencing and also mesh screen. We know that other SMS USD elementaries have the mesh screen to kind of
I think
obscure kids.
Your time is up, but
I know, but last time I was online so late and I couldn't get to speak about anything. So I'm going to finish what I'm going to say. Because this has to do with safety. You have not conducted a safety meeting all of last year because you did not have quorum. And you currently have only two members that are active in your DAC, on your DAC. I know for a fact that other parents have contacted the district providing.
These are the rules of the meeting, and we really know we want to listen to everything you have to say.
And I was here listening to the risk assessment you've done on your financials, but I am not able to get a risk assessment from the district when it comes to safety issues.
It will be addressed, and your time is up, and we have to go on to the other people because we are allowing everybody else. And I would like to hear everything you have to say if you can email us, we will respond.
I emailed last time when I wasn't able to speak because I had to put my children to bed and I did not receive any response.
Mariel Hadid, Wade Major, and then CC Lee.
Good evening, Dr. Sheldon, members of the board. Thank you for your time. My name is Mariel Hadid. I'm a parent and I handle the PTA and PTSA communications for 3 of the Malibu schools. We have a serious problem with communications. At the last meeting, 17 Malibu parents waited more than 2 hours to speak, and not one board member said, "We'll take your comments into consideration." That silence felt dismissive. Parents should not have to keep returning to repeat the same concerns. At that meeting, many of us spoke about chaos during a recent power outage. While we now have generators, there has been still no clear communications, my daughter, about what will be done differently to keep our kids safe next time. You've said there are emergency protocols, but it's not enough that they exist in a PDF. I've looked for them. They're not easily accessible. And more importantly, do they actually work for Malibu? What Malibu needs is a district safety and emergency preparedness coordinator based here, someone with the authority to make real-time decisions for our schools. You can make that happen. We also need a clear playbook for emergencies so families know when we will be notified, how missed instructional days will be handled, and what the plan for the next road closure or fire is. In Malibu, it's when, not and not if. Finally, we must close the gap created by the last non-contiguous district in California, an arrangement that would not be legal if proposed today. We know how it benefits Santa Monica, but how does it benefit Malibu? Our students, families, teachers, and staff deserve safe, organized schools and responsive leadership. It's time to bridge the distance and truly prioritize Malibu. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jennifer or Lori?
Yes.
I think we haven't been repeating as much as maybe we should. I think it's important to remind people that we are not allowed to engage with members of the public when they make a general public comment. And people can view that as being ignored. It's what the rules that we have to follow tell us to do. So there are better ways to, if you want that interaction, to accomplish that.
I appreciate that, John.
Over hours to speak. Why are you taking a third of our time away?
No, it has nothing to do with Santa Monica. The same thing happens in Santa Monica, regardless of who the speakers are. We have a rule that if we have over 10 speakers, the speaking time is reduced to 2 minutes. Please.
You said that same thing happened in Santa Monica. Same thing happened in Malibu. Not the same thing. Not the same thing. There's your facts. Not the same. Thank you so much.
Wade Major, Cece Lee, and then Kevin Keegan.
3 minutes. Fair.
All right. My ask this evening is a no-brainer. It'll make Dr. Shelton's job easier. It'll make Isaac's job easier. It'll make my job and your jobs easier. And best of all, it'll make our families happier and our schools more responsive to our students. 35 years ago, a proposed Malibu High School triggered a debate in Santa Monica about whether it would drain resources from Santa Monica. And those fears proved unfounded, but unforeseeable at the time was the drain on resources that a disaster the scale of the Palisades fire would impose. Smoke mitigation, traffic, bus routes, Edison shutoffs, and learning loss are just a few examples. Factor in the lingering impacts of the other fires, the challenges are magnified. 2 years ago, I presented Dr. Shelton a proposal for a Malibu Pathway DAC to help relieve some of that pressure, and it was shot down, but at Dr. Shelton's behest, we continue to have informal and very productive conversations. Under present circumstances, however, I think we're obligated to reconsider a more formal arrangement. Even without unification on the table, greater pathway autonomy would be simply good governance. With unification all but certain, it's both good governance and good manners. As an example, when families from areas like Montanito get nervous about their permit applications and encroaching enrollment deadlines, they typically reach out to me, I reach out to Isaac, and Isaac contacts the district office to get the permits approved. That's an inefficient and wasteful use of everyone's time, especially the families. As a matter of policy, all permit applications for Malibu schools should be automatically approved and go no further than Isaac. We are deeply grateful at the same time for those like Steve Carrillo, whose tireless efforts on behalf of our displaced families are nothing short of a godsend. Please consider giving him a raise. He has more than earned it. I don't know what we'd do without him. Please consider something like a DAC and SAC, but a more formal delegation of authorities modeled on our very successful FDAC is critical at this point in time. I've passed out the proposal through Sarah. Please look at it. Let's have a conversation about what we can do to formalize some of these autonomies. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Cece Lee, Kevin Keegan, and Mark DePaula.
Can I have my 3 minutes as I'm a
You'll
taxpaying
have 2
citizen?
minutes like everyone else.
Okay, where's the clock located, ma'am?
It's right in front of you, I think. Wait, is not one on the dais as well? How is she supposed to see it?
And the screen when she starts.
Oh. To Crystal. Bye bye da yun lan man de tin. Encantada. Yo vivo en España y así, and I was Lieutenant Governor of Division 37 North Region 8 of the Texas Oklahoma Key Club, National Honor Society President, Varsity Cheerleader, Tax Scholar, #1 kid and all around, but I'm here to be my best for you guys. Thank you for understanding that my friend over here got 170 opportunities, and these kids get 6. Just kidding. I'm so sorry. I got that number wrong. 7 languages to Santa Monica, 2 to Malibu. I'm from the great state of Texas. We don't pay state income tax, but I have happily paid taxes, well over 8 figures for 2 centuries, in hopes that it was going to our future and our education, but it is yet not. It is going to, we're robbing Peter to pay Paul. I'm so sorry. Hold on. I think essentially we're robbing the privilege to pay the pedophile. There is a open trap door in the Santa Monica bathroom at the Braun Hall Performance Center in the women's bathroom. Why is that? I've never been in a women's bathroom in my entire life. Why are they leading to the degradation of society? Schools are so distracted, right? Teachers are so enabled. Every kid can't even fill out a form at the front desk there. You have ruined, and we want you to stop ruining our youth. They need agriculture classes. They need programs. This is what my daughter taught me today. And this is what you don't see. This is Bob. Bob says hi. This is what happens to Bob when a truck goes by. One more thing, this Meta bracelet, I'm the only person in this whole entire, I don't know who has it. Meta, Ray-Ban. School boards should check who's sending Facebooks to which students, because I was in jail last year with a Santa Monica teacher who human trafficked 5th and 6th grade students. Why are we?
Your time is up.
And so is yours.
Thank you.
And I will make sure of it all the way through. I'm here. My cousin, Robert Qua, has just received dual state honors on the journalism level as a principal of McKinney High School. He was also a principal of Frisco High School. I built a financial technology app called Votum to teach women how to invest. I wrote a play called The Stick Horses and Wild West Warriors. I'm hosting a space cowboy party on Friday for the PTA. What are you doing? Because all you're telling me is that you're not busy enough. So if you're not and you can't
Your time is up and other people are waiting to speak.
buses. Why are there?
I think we need to go. We'll recess. Let's call a recess.
Madam President, I move to recess the board.
Is there a second?
Second.
Maria seconds.
So all in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We'll call the meeting back to session. Where's Richard?
Okay, the next three speakers are Kevin Keegan, Mark DiPaolo, and then Josh Donfeld. I can't read if it's Dunfeld or Donfeld. Sorry.
What is this?
We're good?
I am Kevin Keegan. Too often under Santa Monica District's leadership, the needs of Malibu schools are not prioritized. Today, first and foremost, test scores and student achievement should be a red alert priority. Not only is that topic not explicitly on tonight's agenda, it is rarely on the agenda. Furthermore, Santa Monica District's leadership moved too slowly on developing policies for smartphones in classrooms, evidenced by the fact we still do not have a high school policy finalized. But just as urgent today is how slowly we are moving to adopt common sense artificial intelligence recommendations. Here are a few examples of what could be done. Incorporate lessons into our 9th grade curricula addressing topics like what is an algorithm and what are risks of algorithms, and how to identify digital misinformation, disinformation, and deepfakes. Pilot test AI tools for special needs students to develop lists of potential personalized accommodations based on individual needs for IEPs. Update incident response plans, instructing students, teachers, and staff on steps to take in the event of privacy breach, scams, or deepfake incidents. Update policies to include environmental sustainability with AI adoption, and organize an annual information session on advanced technology and AI for schools. Those are a few examples of how the school district can begin to catch up on AI-related challenges. In addition to those critical technology issues, I acknowledge the strategic effectiveness of Santa Monica leadership's influence, creating a sense of fear amongst our Malibu teachers about separating from our district. Your SMMUSD fear-based campaign has gained traction, but I'm here to tell you tonight, in Malibu, love will overcome. We love Malibu teachers, and we're not only committed to taking care of Malibu teachers, but we'll make sure Malibu teachers feel supported and respected. We will prevail in gaining local control. Thank you.
Thank you. Mark DiPaolo, Lee Raphael, Elizabeth Riddick.
Good evening, board. First, a quick comment. I'm Mark Tapala. I'm president of the Malibu Elementary School PTA. Wanted to share with you that while I understand in general, California public education enrollments are declining, ours is at least 10-year high. We hit 274 students this year, which is the most in quite a long time. So I want to talk about two topics quickly. First, the generator. I'm grateful for it. Carrie Upton ignored months of emails from me and other parents asking for a generator, saying that AQMD would not permit it and the city would not permit it. So I've been doing Carrie's job for him a lot recently. I reached out to AQMD and the city, and they both confirmed that they would allow it and would help it quickly. I'm thankful that it happened, but it didn't need to be this difficult. The PTA also provided batteries and lighting for all 13 classrooms at the school at a cost of $9,000 to us, so that our kids wouldn't have to go to school in the dark. I think this is a bit of an embarrassment for the district, for a very well-to-do district, that the parents are paying for lighting and batteries to run the teachers' equipment. So I'll be reaching out to the board asking for reimbursement. I'd like you to consider that, because I don't think parents should have to pay to keep their lights on in the class. Then I want to talk about IAs with my last moments. We requested additional IAs last year after 2 of our IAs gave their notice. It took 5 months to hire them. But more concerning, we sent over 100 IAs using our recruiting methods to the district. One of those IAs is on your list to approve tonight for another school before we receive ours. So one of the IAs we recruited is going to another school in the district because the application asks in 2 places whether they'd be willing to work in Santa Monica after they're applying for a Malibu job. Let's make this work better.
Thank you. Lee Raphael, Elizabeth Riddick, Paul Brisanti.
Good evening. My name is Lee Raphael, and I'm a parent at Malibu Elementary School. I'm here to raise serious concerns about the safety and staffing in our elementary PE program. Several weeks ago during PE, a coach yelled, "Jesus Christ," at my second grade daughter in front of her classmates. She's a child who has never missed a day of school, yet she was so embarrassed she didn't want to go back to school. When I asked how the situation was handled, I was told by the principal it had been addressed, but given no information or reassurance. As a parent, that lack of transparency is deeply unsettling. Since then, I volunteered during PE just so my daughter would feel safe. Every morning she asks if she has PE and only agrees to go to school when I tell her that I will be there. What I've seen while volunteering is troubling. Nearly 50 first and second graders supervised by one single adult. On one occasion, a non-credentialed assistant was present, but there was open tension and even arguing between the two adults in front of all the children, further undermining instruction and safety. This apparently isn't unique to Malibu Elementary. The principal confirmed that Webster Elementary faces the same issue. That makes this either a Malibu problem or a district-wide problem requiring your urgent attention. The law requires PE instruction be supervised by a credentialed teacher. Parents shouldn't have to fill that gap. I'm asking the district to ensure proper staffing, transparency about the incidents and responses, and an end to reliance on parent volunteers. Our kids deserve PE that's safe, structured, and supportive, not stressful. Thank you.
Thank you. Elizabeth Riddick, Paul Grisanti, and then Nora, PTA Webster President.
Hi, my name is Paul Grisanti. I'm on the Bond Oversight Committee for, I guess, 6 years now, and I was on the ad hoc for the city. I'd like to start off by telling you you did the right thing by extending Dr. Shelton's contract. He's been marvelous for Malibu. He's done a lot to try and repair the relationship between the community and the district. I'd also like to take a moment to thank Carrie Upton and Steve Massetti for everything they did to make that high school building arrive on time and within the budget. So that was great. Now, what do we need? What we need is maintenance personnel need to be more responsive when the teachers report issues with their classrooms, lighting systems, plumbing issues, power issues, etc. It's not okay to take their comments and aggregate them and make them wait a week for somebody to show up to fix things. That doesn't work. Doesn't work for the kids, doesn't work for the teachers. We also need to change the allocation of Malibu taxes to cease rewarding the district for actions that drive Malibu residents to put their children into private schools. And so we really need, I have no idea what went on in the closed session, but I certainly hope that we'll be hearing more about school separation soon. Thank you.
Thank you. I take it Elizabeth Riddick is not here anymore. Okay, Nora, Bill Sampson, Halen Conrad.
Bill, I think is before me, so thank you.
Yeah. No, that's right. Bill Sampson first.
Age before beauty.
Yeah.
Nah, never mind. Okay. Thank you. My name is Bill Sampson. I am president of the Malibu Township Council, Malibu's oldest service organization. We were formed in January 1947. I was still a fish. I became a mammal about 6 months later. Henry Ford was still with us. Babe Ruth was still with us. We had been serving Malibu that whole time. We were here, 44 years before Malibu became a city. We are in favor of sensible development. Speaking of sensible development, and I don't agree with Paul Grisanti about much. However, having something that will attract the best is important. I'm talking about having a 50 meter instead of a 40 meter pool, which apparently has been recommended to you. I listened to a lot of the money stuff here. I have an easier time following the four hats and the ball in those baseball commercials they have at Dodger Stadium. Speaking of baseball, if you're a baseball fan, Are bases 90 feet apart, or should they be 80% of that, 72 feet? Would Miguel have beaten Trey to the base if they were 72 feet? He wouldn't be even in the same time zone. You know what? All this money, $11 million appears, then $5 million, different hat. I understand it'll cost an extra $3 million to build the pool as presently configured on paper. Mr. Upton tells me he's working hard to try to bring that down and perhaps relocate the pool. You will remember forever that you saved, that you did not get the right size pool. You'll forget what it costs when it works. Do you cook? If you do you go get Revere Wear or do you get All Clad? The Revere, well, you'll be mad the whole time you spent $25. The Revere, oh God, it cost $100. I'll remember it. Spend the $3 million. We'll help you, but you've got it. Get the kids back. Some of them do leave because they can't swim here.
Thank you. Helen.
Hello. Good evening, board members. Thank you very much for being here. My name is Helen Conrad, and I come to you tonight as a resident, not as a council member. I want to thank you for the beautiful campus. Those kids tonight that spoke, I've known them since they were in kindergarten at Webster. They lived through Woolsey, Broad, Franklin, and now the Palisades fires. We've had 6 months of closures. I've watched them grow up in our schools, play on our fields, and now have to rebuild their homes. My heart's broken. And tonight, they stand here asking you to take them seriously. They want to be heard. They say that they want their own school district, one that represents them and their community, not Santa Monica. Like I said, some of them lost their homes in the fire, and still they stood here tonight on their Tuesday evening, giving up their club soccer, to tell you how serious this is, how important this is to them. Living in Malibu, they faced more than any child should: fires, water main breaks, school closures, power outages, mudslides, and even the fear of a school shooter. And yet they're still here, still showing up, still believing in Malibu. And I hope that they will be our future leaders. And I'm so proud of them. I beg you to listen to them. And I am not too proud to beg. I am pleading with you to listen to the kids. Because if we don't, we've lost the very thing we're trying to teach them, that their voices matter, that they are heard, and that what they say can make a difference. You can make their dreams come true. You can be part of their future. You have the power to show them that their voices matter, that the adults in the room listen. And what more could we ask from our education system, who listens to the youth when they speak? If not now, then when? After they graduate? Like so many other Malibu parents, children's long gone. It's time now to please listen to these kids and their parents. And I really want to thank you again for coming to Malibu tonight.
Thank you. Now we have 4 speakers on Zoom, if they're still here. Joe Drummond, Kim Ford, Joshua Spiegel, and Heather Alfano.
Someone else. Who that left?
Well,
No.
somebody said Josh Donfield. I don't know that he's online.
He's back. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so there's 5, then there are 5. So Sarah, you got.
Could I make a request that those online make sure that their Zoom names match the name they signed up with, so I know who to unmute? Thank you.
Joe Drummond, Kim Ford, Joshua Spiegel, Heather Alfano, and then Josh Donfeld.
Protections through the lobster for personal wetsuit. I got my license.
Hi, this is Kim Ford. Am I up?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, I have a couple things to say. I'm Kim Ford. I'm a Malibu resident and parent. I have a 5th grader at Malibu Elementary School and an 8th grader at Malibu Middle School. I, of course, support the separation of the school district, multiple events. I've been very disappointed in the response pertaining to the post-fire remediation at Webster, addressing the non-functioning bathrooms at Malibu Elementary following the water main break. Of course, the power outages, the length of time it took to get generators. I mean, it's been years. I would have thought that, after Woolsey, we would have had them, and then especially after the Palisades fire. So it was a surprise that there were no generators available during the recent outage. And of course, the communication chaos with dropping off and picking up kids, especially for myself with kids at two different schools. It would be great for Malibu to have their own district, their own communication, and their own programs. The second thing I'd like to address is the pool going in at the high school. And it just, we've been in favor for this 50-meter pool. And as Bill said, it's going to be something that we remember having this 50-meter pool. It's a mistake to build a 40-meter pool that we have to live with. This is the one shot we get. And the kids, it's not just a single kid. Every kid that swims benefits from a 50-meter pool. It builds their endurance. It builds their stroke. If you have any experience with swimming, you would know that short course utilizes the walls and it starts and turns oriented, and half the season is based on long course. So these kids need to have the ability to train in a long course 50-meter pool. They need this if they want to swim in college. They need this if they want to go to the Olympics. They need this just to build their endurance and their stroke to be the best swimmer they can be. Currently, my two children swim at Oaks Christian. They utilize a 50-meter pool, and they both benefit for it. My son is 10 years old, and he benefits from that pool.
The speaker's time is up.
Okay.
Sorry, Mike. Speaker isn't on. Thank you. Joshua Spiegel. Can you find him, Sarah? Okay.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Josh Spiegel. I am the chair of the Public Safety Commission, longtime resident, graduate, Malibu High School. Been here a long time. Wanted to talk about a couple things, but I lost my notes. I think my kids took it, put glitter on it, something. But first, I want to talk about something that I spoke about your last meeting. I really think that it's important for you to reorder the agenda, and I wanted to speak on this on the approval of the agenda to allow people to speak. And I believe, scratch that, you don't allow us to speak. I think that that the privilege is yours to be up there as our elected representatives, and it's our right to speak. Although some people can take it a little bit too far, it's our right to speak. So it would improve communication with your constituents to allow us to speak, or to have us speak at the beginning of the meeting so that we could go back to our families. Second, I don't know where this pool stuff is. I think that most parents here just want the bare minimum Hurricane Katrina level services that we get. We're talking drinking water, power, flushable toilets, that sort of thing at our schools. Security would be nice, but obviously this has become very adversarial between the school district and Malibu parents. I just think that we would like you to listen to us a little bit more, so we don't have to come back over and over and over for the most simple things like testing for toxic materials, which has been going on for decades and decades. Before you were all on, it was PCBs, and now it's, fire debris and who knows what. But if we just work together, maybe this can get better. And we're just tired of repeating the same things over and over and over. So maybe next meeting, if you hear me, maybe move up public comment.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We've heard your comments. Thank you. Heather Alfano, Joe Drummond, and Josh Donfeld are remaining. Sarah, if you can find any of them.
Hi, Heather Alfano here, mother of 3 kids in the district and chair of the MES Site Council. And I just wanted to initially comment in support of a transitional DAC to address the needs of Malibu until we can create this MUSD. We need something to bridge the gap because the disconnect currently between Malibu and the district is alive and well while we negotiate this divorce. I'm going to switch gears a little bit and I want to speak to our lack of a lice policy. At the end of last school year, there was a major issue with lice at one of our elementary schools, to the point where I was able to diagnose kids on the playground myself, just with my naked eye. I reached out to the nurse about doing lice checks or notifying families, etc., and I was informed that none of that is possible per the district policy. And as a public health trained nurse myself, I'd like to express my deep concern for not addressing a communicable condition. The El Segundo Unified School District sends children home if they are found to be infested with lice. The parents are provided with education about how to treat it, and the child is checked the next day prior to going back to class. It's also up to the administrator's discretion to send out an announcement to other families while obviously maintaining privacy for the student. None of this is happening in our schools. I plan on bringing this up at our site council meeting this week and hopefully changing our personal policy. But on another note, I heard that there's no quorum for the health and safety DAC. I also sent in my interest for that last year and never got a response. So it sounds like there's an available spot or two if you'd like to reach back out to me. My email is just my full name, heatheralfano@gmail.com. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sarah, do we have any more? Okay, great.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, this is Joe Drummond. In the words of Moses, please let my people go. How many more times must we ask before you listen? The continued delay in ratifying the Malibu Unification Agreement is not just bureaucratic, it's morally indefensible. Year after year, Malibu families are held hostage in a district that prioritizes Santa Monica's needs while neglecting Malibu's students, teachers, and facilities. We've said this before and we'll say it again. Malibu schools are underfunded, undersupported, and consistently left behind. Post-fire remediation at Webster Elementary remains unaddressed. Have we not learned anything from the PCB crisis at Malibu High and Middle School? Malibu Elementary bathrooms were so neglected, they caused the postponement of back to school night. Meanwhile, high school facilities remain in a disgraceful state. We just passed a $395 million bond. Malibu residents did that, and we would manage it far more effectively if allowed to oversee our own district. Right now, we are funding improvements that disproportionately benefit Santa Monica, not Malibu. The refusal to support a 50-meter Olympic pool, a facility Malibu families need and want, instead of pushing for a smaller, inadequate option, is another example of your failure to meet our needs. Power outages, delayed permits, and lack of emergency communication have become the norm. The fact that SEE stepped in faster than our own school district during PSPS events is shameful. It took over 7 years and still no effective action plan for wildfire response or communication in our wildland urban interface zone. On a personal note, my home burned down in the midst of this chaos. The district saw it fit to schedule important board meetings during the immediate aftermath. This was not only insensitive, it was irresponsible. What have you actually done for fire victims? Where's the district's accountability, the support, the compassion? We need local control. We need leadership that understands our geography, our risks, and our community values.
Thank you, Ms. Drummond. And then the last one, was Josh Donfeld actually on the online? I don't know. Somebody said he was, but oh, I'm sorry. I missed that. Okay, then that I think concludes. I didn't think so either. I had a shit that he was here. Somebody else, Josh Spiegel spoke, I think. But Donfeld was here because he filled out a chit. I've never seen the name online though.
Nora, the PTA, Webster, she needs to speak. She's not technology. 3 kids are out for down.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah. Oh. Yes, we can.
Hello, thank you. So I was president of Malibu Elementary School PTA 2 years ago. My wife, Kelsey, was president of Malibu Elementary PTA last year. And during our 10 years, we raised almost $1 million for the school. Kelsey started Malibu Elementary's after school program, Sea Lion Academy. And each of us volunteered at the school multiple hours per week, all in an effort to do our part to create an awesome school environment for our 3 young children and the children of our communities. After all of our efforts, we sadly felt forced to leave the school by the district's gross mismanagement. After a year of experiencing multiple days of school closure because it was raining, and days of school closure because Isaac and Dr. Shelton couldn't figure out how to bring a functioning generator to the school during blackouts, Dr. Shelton had a conversation with my wife, who had been raising all this money, telling her that what she was doing was wrong and inequitable by bringing private money to the school to hire IAs because other schools in Santa Monica didn't have the same thing. And that was wildly discouraging. Then he pretended to listen to our community about who we wanted as our next principal, who was Patrick Miller. And prior to telling us basically to take a hike, he hired someone who would be sort of more, under the district's control. And, we topped it all off by the gift of tampons in the boys' bathroom so my 5-year-olds could learn all about feminine hygiene. The district is some combination of unwilling or unable to manage our schools competently. And our community is fine with being extorted by you out of our money. All we ask is for the freedom to manage our community schools ourselves. And I think that, you're saying you can't respond to the community. You had all these kids talking to you. We're talking to you. Enough is enough. Okay? Like, we're trying our best and you guys are just impeding us and you don't care. You're not even paying attention. You're dismissive. You don't care, and it's bleeding out of your facial expressions, and it's a disgrace.
Your time is up. Thank you very much. That's all I have on the list. That's it. Okay, I think that concludes the public comment.
Okay. Board member items, board member comments. Dr. Shelton just wanted me to talk about the Great Shakeout. That's October 16th. There. Then I guess future agenda items and adjournment. Anybody yet? John?
Yeah, there's 2 things. One is a matter of business and one is just a board member comment.
Okay.
For my colleague next to me, just want to point out that a lot of work has been going into the unification process through the subcommittee over these past few months, to the point where we will be meeting next Thursday with the Malibu City Council subcommittee. And I hope that after that mediation, based on the passion I hear from people here to get this done, I hope that their elected members hear that same passion and bring it to this mediation. So that will be on the 16th, and hopefully we will be able to report out after that. The personal thing I'd like to say is today is October 7th. It is the 2nd anniversary of the murder of 1,200 individuals in Israel and Gaza from the attack by Hamas on October 7th, 2023. There are 48 souls, dead and alive, still being held hostage. So when we use the term holding hostage, it has a real world application right now. I hope that these people are home. I hope that we find peace in Israel and in Gaza. I hope that everybody finds that peace and is reunited with their families. And I hope that we can also try to make some efforts to find that humanity in one another as well. And instead of dividing us apart, we try to find the things that we can agree upon and try to build from there. So I would like to just recognize the souls that we lost, the souls who are missing, and the souls who are still suffering.
I'd like to recognize Charlie.
Thank you. Thank you, John. I think that's really important note. Let's call an adjournment. All in favor? Adjourned.
I'd like to recognize Charlie Kirk as this is the turning point. Can't wait to see inside your Facebook profiles. I'll have fun doing